Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter-Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A very funny weekend starts on this Saturday with episodes of the Magnificent Montague starring Monty Wooley by request, also Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life, the First Nighter program starring Barbara Luddy and Olan Soule in Refresher Course, and the CBS Radio Workshop with the record collectors. Howard McNear and Lou Huston play a couple of record collectors, and John Dehner interviews them. And finally, an episode of Claudia. That's all what's ahead on this Saturday, 27th day of April, 118th day of the year, 248 days remaining. The British Parliament passed the Tea Act on this date in 1773, designed to save the British East Indian Company by granting it a monopoly on North American tea trade. Marines and Berbers attacked the Tripolitan city of Dehner in the First Barbarian War on this date in 1805. That, of course, is where the Marines, the shores of Tripoli, come from. In 1947, it was Babe Ruth Day across the nation. At Yankee Stadium, the Bambino, who was dying of cancer, spoke for the last time to his fans.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know how bad my voice sounds. Well, it feels just as bad. You know this baseball game of ours comes up from the youth. The only real game, I think, in the world. Baseball. You gotta start from way down the bottom when you're 6 or 7 years of age. You gotta let it grow up with you. And if you're successful and you try hard enough, you're bound to come out on top, just like these boys have come to the top now. Thank you.
Give him away, sir.
He would live about another year and a half, passing away August 16th, 1948. He was just 53 years of age. In 1967, Expo 67 officially opened in Montreal with a large opening ceremony broadcast around the world, and it would open to the public on the next day. Premiering on this date in 1969, The Dudley Do-Right Show. Some wonderful voices in the show. Bill Scott portraying Dudley Do-Right, with Nell Fenwick being portrayed by June Foray, and Snidely Whiplash, of course, Uncle Tanoose, Hans Conried, and the narrator and Inspector Fenwick portrayed by the irascible Paul Frees, and narrator William Conrad. The character and his exploits originally appeared in a segment of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show 8 years earlier in 1961. In 1979, 10,000 people marched in Washington calling for the impeachment of President Nixon. And in 1994, the first democratic election in South Africa in which black citizens could vote. In 2018, the Panmunjom Declaration was signed, declaring the final end of the Korean conflict. Of course, there are still conflicts in Korea to this date. Passing away on this date in history, the fine journalist Edward R. Murrow.
This is London. At the moment, everything is quiet. Off to my left, far away in the distance, I can see just that faint, red, angry snap of anti-aircraft bursts against this steel blue sky. Now you'll hear two bursts a little nearer in a moment. There they are.
Edward R. Murrow's See It Now was the first television program to have a report about the connection between cigarette smoking and cancer. And during the show, Murrow said, "I doubt I could spend a half hour without a cigarette with any comfort or ease." He developed lung cancer, lived for 2 years after an operation to remove his left lung, died on this date in 1965, 2 days after his 57th birthday. His colleague and friend Eric Severide said of him, he was a shooting star, and we will live in his afterglow a very long time. Edward R. Murrow passing away on this date in 1965, and I think one could say that because of Edward R. Murrow, television news developed a solid reputation that has by and large disappeared to this day. Television news is a sideshow circus. It really is. Among others passing away on this date in history, CIA Director William Colby, trumpeter Al Hirt. What a wonderful, he made New Orleans swing. He really did. Singer Vicki Sue Robinson turned the beat around. And he was a football player, best known as a pro wrestler. He was the NWA United States champion on television for a lot of years, and then formed the American Wrestling Alliance, American Wrestling Association, and Vince McMahon killed them. He did. Vern Gagne passing away on this date in 2015. But when Vern's organization worked, it was great. And when it didn't work, it was crap, honestly. And also passing away on this date a year ago today, Jerry Springer. And while he was a mayor and did some good work, he was probably best known for his insane, absurdist talk show and his Judge Jerry show, which was, it never really went anywhere. Jerry Springer passing away a year ago today. Among those born on this date in history who are no longer with us, Samuel F.B. Morse, the inventor of the Morse code. President Ulysses S. Grant, born on this date. Walter Lantz, the creator of Woody Woodpecker, born on this date. Actor Jack Klugman, Quincy, and of course we all remember him with Tony Randall in The Odd Couple. The wife of Dr. Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King. Disc jockey Casey Kasem. Actress Sandy Dennis. The Sock It To Me Girl, Judy Carn. And from The Main Ingredient, the father of Cuba Gooding Jr., Cuba Gooding Sr., all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Kate Pearson of the B-52s, Love Shack is a little old place. Kate Pearson, 76 today. From Kiss, Ace Frehley, 73. The lady who sang about my baby takes the morning train. And For Your Eyes Only and Strut, Sheena Easton, 65. And from Doctor Who, Jenna Coleman is 38. Those are just a few of the people who celebrate the 27th day of April as their birthday. And if this is your birthday,
we baked you a birthday cake. If you get a tummy ache and you moan and groan and woe, don't forget we told you so. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Make a wish, dear, and blow out the candles.
Here they go.
3 people you don't want baking your cake or cooking your turkey. You don't. Comedy on this Saturday. We start off with a request. The Magnificent Montague. This originally broadcast 73 years ago, April 27th, 1951, the Summer Getaway Cottage. That's next.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-932-1431. 800-932-1431. That's 800-932-1431. Paid for by the Tax Helpline.
Now, before we get to the comedy here, the educational portion here of our show, the one-season program, The Magnificent Montague, starred screen actor Monty Wooley as Edwin Montague, a former Shakespearean actor who had to take a job in radio due to financial difficulties. His wife was played by Anne Seymour, their maid Agnes Pert Kelton. And of course, she portrayed the very first Trixie Norton in the television program The Honeymooners. Let's see, other interesting things that you might find. The show aired, as I said, one season from November to November, 1950 to 1951. The Magnificent Montague is not related to the American disc jockey Nathaniel Magnificent Montague, who was an R&B disc jockey on KGFJ in Los Angeles and WWRL in New York City. And he had a trademark phrase, "Burn, baby, burn," which was said a lot in the 1965 Watts riots. Well, after he was confronted with that, he urged listeners to pursue their education, coining the phrase, "Learn, baby, learn." And believe it or not, he moved from R&B to easy listening in the mid-'70s and launched a radio station there with Montavani. There you go. He retired with his wife to Las Vegas, where I guess he still remains to this day. He was born back in 1928. That means he's coming up on 100 years of age if he's still with us. All right, let's get away from radio and get back to radio. Monty Wooley, The Magnificent Montague, from 73 years ago today, April 27th, 1951, the Summer Getaway Cottage, just for Griffith J. Or is it J. Griffith? Or is it J. Griffith J.? I don't know.
The National Broadcasting Company presents transcribed The Magnificent Montague, starring Monty Wooley. It's been a long, hard winter for Edwin Montague. This was the winter that marked his final surrender to radio. From the Magnificent Montague of the Shakespearean stage to Uncle Goodhart of an afternoon radio program. Yes, this was the winter of his discontent. He is resting in his den after dinner. His wife, Lily, is clearing away the dinner dishes. Agnes, their maid, has kindly consented to help her.
Would I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Would I... Well, that finishes that set.
Agnes, what was that?
Nothing, honey. Just broke my dish for the day. Would I love you, love you, love you.
Not so much noise. Edwin is resting.
May he rest in peace.
Agnes, I'm worried about him lately. He looks terrible.
That's just what I told you.
When?
25 years ago, the day you married him.
I'm serious, Agnes. Don't you think he looks thin? He's lost his bounce.
Oh, I don't know. Let's go in and bounce him a few times.
Oh, Agnes, please. Did you notice he didn't eat a bite of your cooking? Maybe he's getting sick.
Maybe he's getting smart.
There's that radio job. All his life he's been in the theater. This is the first time he's ever had a steady job. It's a grind, Agnes. Believe me, it's no fun for Edwin to be on the air 5 times a week.
For his listeners, it ain't either.
Agnes, I have it. I know what to do with Edwin.
Go ahead, honey. No matter what you do, the police won't get a word out of me.
Oh, don't be silly. This summer I'm going to get him out of New York.
Get Montague out of New York? You got a better chance of moving the Statue of Liberty.
Well, we've never spent a summer in the country. He'll love it.
I can see Montague with the cows and chickens.
Someplace where he can just sprawl out and relax.
Are you kidding? If he ever lays down with that beard, he'll wake up with an egg in it.
Oh, don't be silly. When he was a boy, he used to love the country.
When he was a boy, there were no cities.
Agnes, you're always intimating that Edwin is old.
Intimating? I seen that picture of him in the army marching under the Washington Monument.
Lots of soldiers have marched under the Washington Monument.
Right behind Washington?
Oh, stop exaggerating.
All right. But a boy, he ain't.
Agnes, I'm determined to get him out of New York this summer. Now, we'll rent a... Oh, I'll get the phone, Agnes. Hello? Oh, Mr. Harrison. No, we're staying home tonight. Canasta, wonderful. Come over as soon as you can.
Who was that, as if I didn't know the Harrisons across the hall were coming over for canasta?
Sam and Martha Harrison are the first neighbors we've ever had in New York who are neighborly. A little card game will be nice and relaxing for Edwin.
Oh, sure.
Lily?
Here he comes, Mr. Coffee Nerves.
Edwin, did you get a nice rest in your den?
Who can rest in that debris? Agnes, just once would you break tradition and clean it?
Now, Edwin, don't start with Agnes.
Lily, I don't mind a little dust. When I find mushrooms growing under the couch...
Oh, stop exaggerating. The mice got those mushrooms 2 weeks ago.
All right, Agnes. Now, Edwin, please don't get upset. You're so jumpy and nervous lately.
Nonsense. You want to see how steady I can hold my hands around Agnes's throat?
Edwin, now look at yourself. You're pale, circles under your eyes. You're getting a pot belly.
Pot belly? Oh, ridiculous. There's one thing I can say. I carry myself very well.
What you can't carry, you drag.
Poor Agnes.
Please, both of you act your age. Edwin, you're getting worse every day.
Lily, I'm just a little tired.
And staying in the city this summer, as you always do, won't help.
What are you driving at?
Edwin, this summer we're going to take a house in the country.
Oh, no.
Now, Edwin.
A house in the country. Oh, goody. Our own little garden where we can plant Agnes. Well, that's out. I hate the country.
Well, just this summer, let's get out of New York with its heat and all that soot and dirt blowing around.
So you want to go to the country where it all comes from?
But Edwin, you need a nice quiet place where you can rest.
I certainly do, and I'm going right to bed. Good night.
Oh, wait, Edwin. The Harrisons are coming over for canasta.
Oh, no, not again.
Now, Edwin.
If you're looking for a nice, quiet place, let's rent their apartment. They're always here.
A little canasta game with Sam Harrison and his wife, Martha, will relax your mind.
It'll unhinge it. I hate canasta, and I hate the Harrisons. I hate the idea of wasting an evening.
Oh, that's Sam and Martha.
I'll get the door.
Ah, the Harrisons. Come in.
How do you do, Mrs. Montague? I was just saying to Martha, we haven't been over to the Montague since last night. They'll think we moved back to St. Louis. Isn't that just what I said, Martha?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison, you mean there's an outside chance you are thinking of moving back to St. Louis?
Not on your life. We're New Yorkers now. East side, west side, all around. Yeah. Let me tell you, sir, you can bet your bottom dollar St. Louis will never see us again. Tell me, Mr. Montague, have you ever been in St. Louis?
No, but right now it seems like the place to be.
Edwin, I'll get the card table.
Watch how you put up that card table, Mrs. Montague. About 1 year ago, I was putting one up. A leg collapsed, got my hand caught in it, tripped, fell down, broke my jaw so badly I couldn't open my mouth for a month. Remember that, Martha?
Yeah. Let's start playing. Edwin has to get to bed early. You deal, Edwin.
Canasta again. Wait. How about a few hands of bridge?
Bridge?
That's right, Edwin. We used to play bridge in the dressing room when we were in the theater.
Yes, I used to love bridge. It's a faster game, more exciting. I'll deal.
Okay with me. I win at all games. Yeah. You know what they say, lucky in cards, unlucky in love. Isn't that right, Martha?
Yes.
Pick up your card. I bid, eh? I bid 1 club.
2 diamonds.
2 spades.
Martha?
Yes?
You pass?
Yes.
He passes.
Let me see. I bid 3 clubs. You bid, Sam.
Say, could I have the bids again?
Oh, no. I opened with a club.
I bid 2 diamonds.
I bid 2 spades.
Martha passed.
Yes.
I went to 3 clubs. It's up to you.
Up to me, eh? 3 clubs. Say, speaking of clubs, did I ever tell you how I met Martha? Well, sir, there was an elks dance.
Oh, please. We're playing cards. It's your bid. Your South bid.
I am the suit. Well, I'll bid 3 diamonds, you all. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Lily?
3 spades.
Martha?
Yes.
Does that mean you pass?
Yes.
Now she's mad. It's up to me, huh? And then I bid 4 clubs. Your bid, Sam.
Meet me in St. Louis. Meet me.
Oh, Sam.
Did you say something?
It's your bid.
Oh, I guess I wasn't paying any attention. What's the bid?
It's up to 4 clubs.
5 diamonds.
Pass.
Martha?
Yes.
I double.
Redouble. Whatever that means.
Come on, let's play.
Martha's dummy, eh?
Yes.
Doubled and redoubled. Now we're set. I lead. Martha, put out your card. We're going to play bridge. Let's play. You go, Sam.
How many cards have you got?
13. We all have 13.
Not me. I've only got 12. Mixed deal. Yeah.
No. There's a card under the table.
Oh, mixed deal. Oh, playing bridge with the Harrisons. I must be out of my head.
Yes.
All right, I'll deal over. I have time for just 1 hand. I'm going to bed.
Well, anyway, to make a short story long, I said to this policeman...
Sam, it's your bid.
Oh, so it is. My mind was miles away.
I wish you were with it.
Edwin.
Lily, it's midnight. We're still bidding on the first game. There were 3 mixed deals. Twice Agnes got mustard on the card. Once the table collapsed. 3 times Martha had to cross the hall to see if their babysitter got into the liquor.
Did she, Martha?
Yeah.
Sam, it's your bid.
It is, isn't it? Would you kindly review the bidding?
I opened with the spade, which reminded you of a story about 2 old maids. You bid 2 clubs, which reminded you of a story about a club you belonged to. Lily bid 2 diamonds, which reminded you about a baseball story. Martha passed, which reminded you about a story about Martha. We all blush. I bid 7 spades. That's a grand slam. Now it's up to you.
Grand slam. Say, that reminds me of a story. I got a friend.
I don't believe it. I just bid a grand slam, and I'm going to play it.
A grand slam? You won't make it. I'll lead a jack.
Oh, I won't, eh? Lay out your cards. Hello there. I trump the jack. My trick. I play the king of trump. Queen of trump. Jack of trump. Ace, king, queen of diamonds. Ace, king, queen of clubs. The ace, king of hearts. And the last trick, the ace of spades. Grand slam.
Oh, Edwin.
Wait a minute.
What is it? The game's over.
I have 3 cards left.
3 cards left?
What do you know? There's 6 cards on the floor. Mixed deal. Yeah.
Cards on the floor. There's only one way for us to play, under the table.
Now, Edwin, just one hand.
Lily, look at the time. I've got to get some sleep.
Say, it is late. I must say you folks keep us up till all hours. Let's go, Martha.
Well, it was nice having you over.
Wonderful. Yes, wonderful. I'll walk you to the door. Good night.
Good night. Certainly enjoyed the game.
Good night.
You got everything, Martha?
Yes.
You know, she's always forgetting something. Reminds me, I ever tell you about the time she left her purse at the Paramount Theater?
Sam, I am out on my feet some of the time.
This will only take a moment. When we wanted to go back, they wanted us to buy tickets.
Sam.
Well, I explained to the manager. He was decent enough. Tall fellow with white hair. I forget his name. He gave me his card.
Sam.
Well, anyway, he called the head usher. Bright kid. He had red hair. Do you know they train those ushers 6 months before they let them lay a hand on a flashlight? Well, I tell you, it's lucky someone turned in the purse. Shows there's one honest man left in the world.
Sam.
They asked Martha to identify the contents of the purse.
Sam.
But it was a good thing Martha remembered what was in it. She just bought 2 pounds of liver for dinner. That was that. Well, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
They're gone. Lily, help me to bed.
I'll turn out the light.
Oh, no.
It's us again. Martha forgot her purse. Mind if we look around?
Sam.
Well, it isn't under the card table.
No, it doesn't seem to be. Oh, wait a minute. Say, Martha.
Yes?
When you were at the Paramount this afternoon...
Yes?
Did you forget your purse there?
Yes.
I'm sorry to have bothered you. Where's the door? Yeah, let's go, Martha. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Say,
Sam.
I almost forgot. My company has come up with a most amazing life insurance policy.
Sam. Go home.
Now, I happen to have an application right here. It won't take...
We'll be back with the Magnificent Montague in just a moment. And now, back to the Magnificent Montague. So ends another episode of Uncle Goodheart. And until he meets you again tomorrow in his little cottage on the sunny side of the lane, here is Uncle Goodheart with his thought for the day.
When your neighbor's car slips off the jack and pins him under the wheel, kneel down and soothe him with a song. In my merry Oldsmobile.
Okay, you're off the air, Mr. Montague.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
Well, as I always say, early to bed, early to rise keeps a man healthy, wealthy, and out of the nightclubs.
Oh, spring up, please.
Remember, a man of your age can't go hooting around burning the candle at both ends. You could use a little shut-eye.
You could use a little shut mouth.
Shut mouth, that's rich. But you do look a little peaked, Mr. Montague.
I know, Gad. I feel lower than a burlesque patron's thoughts.
Well, you need is... Oh, here's our director, Mr. Zinzat.
Hi, folks.
Quiet, Zinzat. Mr. Montague's a wreck. Just look at him.
Oh, heavens, did you get the license number?
Oh, Zinzat, I'm just tired. I was up till 4 this morning.
Blonde or brunette?
Quiet, blonde or brunette, the very idea.
It's a good idea.
I must say, Zinda, you're particularly obnoxious today.
Oh, have you noticed it, too?
Ginger, stop annoying Mr. Montague. Can't you see he's pooped out?
Who says I'm pooped out?
Did somebody say you were pooped out? I didn't say you were pooped out. Ginger, did you say he was pooped out?
I didn't say he was pooped out. Who said he was pooped out?
Quiet! They're off and running at Bellevue. Now you two be quiet, both of you.
You're sure on edge, Mr. Montague. You're ready for your summer vacation.
All I need is a night's sleep. Got to bed at 4. 2 minutes after 4, the garbage trucks arrived. The merry collectors began throwing cans at each other. When they got through, another truck backed up and delivered 10 tons of coal.
10 tons of coal?
Believe me, I counted every piece. My wife, Lily, is right. I've just got to get out of the city. Springer, where do you go for the summer?
Well, the wife and I love to go camping.
Oh, no, I can see Lily on a camping.
Well, my wife and I love it. It's great. Up before sunrise, chopping wood for the fire, getting the fire going, grab the fishing rod, wade out up to the hips in that icy stream, catching fish, bringing them back to camp, cleaning them out, putting them on the fire, getting the coffee going, and then she comes into the tent and wakes me for breakfast. I tell you, a few weeks of that, and I'm ready to go to work.
And she's ready for a sanitarium. Where do you go for the summer, Zinza?
Oh, I got a little cottage on Lake Ronkonkoma.
Ronkonkoma. That's an Indian name.
No, it's named after a farmer around there, Sam Ronkonkoma.
That's his name?
Yeah. He's got the longest mailbox in the county.
Zinza, I admire you. You've been able to save up for your own home in the Bronx and your own summer cottage. I suppose you can't wait to get out there this summer.
Oh, we can't leave the city this summer. My wife can't be too far from the hospital. She's expecting.
Zinza, not again.
Well, what are you going to do?
This will be your 10th.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? My wife likes the pitter-patter of tiny feet.
10 children.
Yeah. Just when one pitter-patter peters out, another pitter-patter patters in.
And you won't be able to get out to your cottage this summer. And you say it's quiet out there?
When my family isn't there, it is, yes.
Zinza, why don't you let me rent your cottage for the summer?
There's always a lot of cottages out there for rent. When the news leaks out that my family isn't coming up this year, they'll all be snapped up.
It's quiet, peaceful. Zinza, it's a deal. When can I see the cottage?
Say, I could drive you up there in my Chevy this afternoon. You can even spend the night there.
The night? A good night's sleep in the country. Zinza, I love you.
I love you too, Mr. Montague.
I'll call Lily. I'll have her pack an overnight bag and we'll be off. On this highway, riding into the sun.
And live?
Yes. Thank you, Zinza.
Oh, Edwin, it's wonderful getting out of New York.
Oh, don't talk, Lily. Just let me soak in that fresh air.
Look, for the last time, you're going to close that car window.
What's the matter, Agnes? Can't you stand a little breeze?
I don't mind the breeze, but that beard of yours is whipping me to death.
Oh, we had to take her along. I haven't got enough babbling brooks in the country. Zinza?
Yes, Mr. Montague.
You said the place was only an hour away. We've been driving an hour and a half already.
Well, don't worry about me. I could drive this Highway 18 with my eyes closed.
Well, open them up. For the last half hour, you've been on Highway 6.
6? Well, what do you know?
Well, I know we're on the wrong road. Zinza, I told you to get a map.
No, I don't need a map. Let me think.
There's a filling station. Pull up and let's ask for the directions.
Okay, I sure hate to bother people.
Excuse me, attendant.
Welcome to Stanley's stopover. What'll it be, Dad?
Could you tell us...
Need any gas, oil, grease, tune up your motor, cold pop, fan belt, cigarettes, Rigetal vitamin pills, jerked beef, Blue Jay corn plasters, key to the powder room, heated cabin?
No, all I want are some directions.
It figured.
How do we get to,
Lake Ronkonkoma.
Let me see. Lake Ronkonkoma. Well, you go back about 10 miles, turn left at the papaya juice stand, keep going till you hit a dirt road that says no trespassing. Laugh at it. And take that road till you hit the lake.
Thank you. Now let's go, Zinzan.
You sure you don't want any gas?
No, thanks. Hurry, Zinzan.
We've been driving around for hours.
Lily, just be quiet. Look, I think we're finally getting someplace.
Goody, I've always wanted to see Canada.
That's enough out of you, Agnes.
Edwin, we've had enough bickering.
The man said a papaya juice stand. You'd think that 4 adults could remember directions.
Edwin, it's getting dark.
Edwin, it's getting dark. Edwin, it's getting dark. I know it's getting dark. Zinzer, I told you to get a map.
Zinzer, get a map. Zinzer, get a map. That's all I've heard for 6 hours.
All right. Let's not fight among ourselves. Wait. There's a filling station. Let's find out where we are.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Welcome to Stanley's stopover. What'll it be, Dad? Make gas, oil, grease?
Oh, no.
Return of Monte Cristo.
We followed your directions. We've been driving around for 6 hours.
And you still don't need any gas?
No.
What's that car run on, seltzer?
All I want is information.
Why don't you take some air? That's free, too.
Please, we've got to get to Lake Ronkonkoma. It's dark.
Okay, let me see. Now, you turn left, go down about 30 miles.
Give me the road, the white winding highway. This is India. Where's the lake? I'll get the cottage open. Oh, Edwin, wake up.
What happened?
Edwin, we're here. Lake Ronkonkoma.
I don't believe it. 4 a.m. Lily, get me into bed.
Agnes. Agnes, wake up.
Look how sweet she looks. Oh, don't wake her up, Lily. Let her sleep in the car. We'll just roll the car down into the lake.
You roll who down into the lake?
She's up. Let's get into the cottage. Ah, that air. We're next to nature.
Smells more like we're next to a riding academy.
Welcome to Zinzer's nest. Want me to show you around?
My bedroom. Where's my bedroom?
Right through there. Oh, Edwin, you're tearing your clothes off.
Hurry up, Lily, hurry. Listen to that quiet. Now the bed. This is what I needed.
You ready, Edwin? I'm turning out the light.
Good.
Good night, Edwin.
Good night, Lily. What's that? Lily, lock the door. Whoa!
Oh, Edwin, that's just a little cricket.
A little cricket yelling like that?
Oh, they don't yell. They make that noise rubbing their legs together. Now go to sleep. Good night, dear.
Good night. Cricket. What a loud noise they get rubbing their legs together. That one must be wearing corduroy pants.
Oh, Edwin, go to sleep.
All right. Lily.
Edwin, that's just a bullfrog.
Good night. Cricket.
Edwin, that's just an owl. Come out from under the bed.
Lily, Zinzer tricked us. He brought us to the Bronx Zoo.
Edwin, that's just country nightlife.
I'll get used to it. Good night. Lily, this is impossible.
You can stay in bed.
Oh, where's the window? Here. Shut up! That's better. My bed. Fire. Peace. Good night, Lily.
Good night, Edwin.
Don't tell me that's a bird.
It's the people in the next cottage.
Oh, look, they're moving in. I'll stop that. I'll stop it. Hey, out there, can't you wait till morning?
Edwin, why did you... Look, they're coming over. You got them mad.
No, 4 in the morning, and I'm in an argument with neighbors.
They're coming to the window.
All right. I'll open the window.
How do you do, Mr. Montague? Thought I recognized your voice. Yeah.
Oh, the Harrison.
Yes, sir. We're just moving in for the summer, aren't we, Martha?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Edwin, come back into the house. Where are you running in your pajamas?
Back to New York. Back to New York.
Join us again next week at the same time for another transcribed visit with the Magnificent Montague.
Transcribed. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. KFI, Los Angeles. Memo from stationers, students, architects, and professional draftsmen. Select supplies from stationers' complete stock, including drawing sets, T-squares, triangles, scales, or slide rules. For students, drawing set from just $2.25. Stationers Corporation, 525 South Spring. Also San Diego.
And they didn't pay me anything for that message. 73, now all that stuff, it's handled on your phone now. You know, you don't have to have all that stuff. April 27th, 1951, 73 years ago today, Monty Wooley and the Magnificent Montague, for Griffith J. or J. Griffith, or whichever it is. In any event, coming up next, we will look for the secret word with Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. That's 800-515-6302.
On Sunday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more comedy. We'll take a look at August 28th, 1953, with episodes of My Friend Irma and the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis Show. We'll also have Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, The Halls of Ivy, Ronald and Benita Coleman, and another episode of Superman. But right now, get ready to say the secret word as we go to April 27th, 1957, 67 years ago today, Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word is house. House.
Is this a fact?
You bet your life.
It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America, who invite you to see and drive the most exciting car in the world today, DeSoto for 1957.
The most exciting car today is now delighting the far highway. It's the lovely, it's dynamic, it's DeSoto. Exciting style to please the eye, exciting power to pass them by. It's the lovely, it's dynamic, it's DeSoto.
Here he is, the one, the only...
Well, here I am again with a chance for each of our couples to win up to $10,000. George, who's first?
Carol Webster and Dan Quigley are standing by to talk to you, Groucho. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word, and you each get an extra $50. It's a common word, something you see every day. Daniel Webster and Dan Quigley, huh? Daniel is your name?
No, not Daniel. Carol.
Oh, Carol. Oh. Would you mind giving us some idea of your age, Carol? Just let your conscience be your guide.
I'm 26, Groucho.
26, and we don't look it. You look like around
Thank
20.
you.
Now, where are you from, Carol?
Well, I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts, and then we moved to Cape Elizabeth, Maine when I was a baby, and when I was 17, we moved to Hartford, Connecticut. And I liked Hartford.
Oh.
I lived at a boys' prep school there.
You lived at a boys' school? How old were you?
I was 17.
Oh, brother.
It was very nice. I was just young enough to date the students and just old enough to go out with the teachers.
Oh. Well, why did you... Who made this decision, your father?
Yes, he did. Well, he was a friend of the headmaster, so...
Oh, he was a friend of yours, too, I think.
He sure was.
Well, didn't your father worry about you? How many boys were there?
Oh, about 150. It was a paradise for a young girl.
Oh, I should say. Paradise even for an old girl. You're Dan Quigley?
That's right, Groucho.
Where are you from, Dan?
Wilton, North Dakota, 24 miles north of Bismarck, North Dakota, which is the state capital.
Oh. Now, what could you tell us about North Dakota that might attract the tourist trade?
Well, for the Chamber of Commerce's standpoint, it gets down to 52 below. I've seen it in the wintertime.
Gets down to 52 below zero?
Right.
Well, that certainly ought to attract the tourist trade.
Well, it's a
Attract them all the way down to Miami, Florida.
It's a fine winter sport, and in the fall, it's fine hunting, the best in the United States.
Are you married, Dan?
Yes, I am married.
Oh. Where'd you meet your wife? In a snowstorm?
No, I met her in a restaurant, and I was a customer there.
Well, I'd say you were a customer in every restaurant.
Well, it goes to say that a fat man always proves that he eats well.
You're a pretty big lad, Dan. How much do you weigh? Just tell us in round tons.
Round tons, 320 pounds.
You only weigh 320? Have you thought of becoming a jockey? No, you know, and they do have these elephant races in India.
I was thinking of perching horses, probably.
Oh. Well, enough about your weight. I imagine you must be pretty sick of that subject, aren't you, Dan?
No, I don't think so, Groucho. It's very...
What sort of work do you do?
I'm in the restaurant business.
Well, the fat's in the fire again. What's the name of your Ptomaine Emporium?
The Totaway Burger, 11,500 West Pico.
What's the name of it?
Totaway Burger.
Would you spell it?
Totee-A-W-A-Y.
What does that mean? Is that French, Totaway?
No, it's not French. It means that if you wish to purchase something, you can come up, order it, and tote it away in a basket.
Oh. I think I ate in one of your places. I had one of those hamburgers, and they toted me away. I went there again after that and just ate the basket and threw the hamburger. Well, Carol, let's get back to you. It's taken me quite some time, but I think it's worth it. And are you married?
Yes, I am.
Well, let's forget the whole thing. How long have you been in California, Carol?
Oh, just about 6 months.
Why did you come out here?
Well, when I lived back in Connecticut, I used to listen to Art Linkletter's house party every afternoon on the radio.
Wait a minute.
Funny! Thank you.
Give it a hand. You say you came out here from Connecticut. Why did you come out, Carol?
Oh, well, as I was saying, I used to listen to Art Linkletter's house party every
Who?
afternoon. Art Linkletter?
Art Linkletter?
Yes.
Never heard of him. Is he the missing Linkletter?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've heard his
But
show.
anyhow, I used to listen to his program, and he always told about the wonderful climate in California. So I talked my husband into coming out here because we have terrible weather in Connecticut.
Now, what does your husband do for a living?
Well, he's a commercial service specialist at General Electric in North Hollywood.
Well, that sounds like a very imposing job. What does he do there specifically?
I don't know, neither does he. He hasn't been at it very long.
Well, have you ever asked him what he does?
Yes, and he just looks kind of vague, and off in the clouds. He's looking for his job description, though. That ought to help him out a little.
He's looking for somebody to describe what he does?
Yes, they have a little piece of paper that describes his job, but he lost it.
Well, he doesn't know where he lost it?
No.
Well, you tell him he better find out in a hurry.
Yeah.
GE's liable to trade him off to Westinghouse for a couple of waffle irons. Carol, now you've heard Dan and me talking about food a while ago. How about you? Are you a good cook?
I'm a terrible cook.
Oh.
I specialized in, tuna fish casseroles, opening cans, dehydrated roasts, and burnt meatballs.
Now I understand why he doesn't know what kind of a job he has. He's slowly being poisoned. How about other housewifely duties? Can you sew?
No, I'm a terrible sewer, too. Well, I tried it once, though.
What happened?
Well, my husband was lame for a week from the sock that I darned for him, so now I just throw them away.
Why don't you throw your husband away and keep the socks? Actually, he sounds like a wonderful fellow. He must have the patience of Job, the wisdom of Solomon, and the backbone of a jellyfish. Carol, I think he's pretty lucky to have a girl as nice as you. Pretty
you.
and with a good sense of humor. It isn't every woman who would tolerate a husband who works for General Electric and who hasn't the faintest idea what he's doing. Well, it's been fun talking to you two, and I'd like to continue, but it's time to play You Bet Your Life, and we want to see you win some money. Now, remember your partner, so we want one answer on everything, huh? Now, we have 20 categories, and from this, you selected plants, animals, and birds. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're through. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Is that clear? Here we go. What is the state flower of Kansas?
Sunflower. Oh, excuse me. That's right. The sunflower.
Sunflower is right.
1 right, 3 more to go, and you'll have $1,000.
What is the distinguishing characteristic of a herbivorous animal?
It eats vegetables.
That's true.
You're halfway to $1,000 now.
What flower is the symbol of Mother's Day?
Carnation.
Carnation is right.
3 right, 1 more right, and you'll have $1,000.
What kind of a mosquito carries malaria?
Anopheles.
That's right. We can't.
Yes, sir.
We can't cheat them out of anything.
4 in a row, you now have
That's just too
$1,000.
smart, that's all.
Good.
Anopheles, huh?
Yes.
I thought that was where the Navy was. In Maryland. Did you know it was Anopheles?
I knew it was, I knew it began with an A.
That'll give you an idea if we do, huh? And you, did you know it?
Yes.
Oh, you did, huh? Well, you're smarter than we are. Well, now you've won $1,000. Now you can keep it and quit, or you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a crack at $10,000. So go over there and sit on his lap, and thanks for being on the show, and think about it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This year, DeSoto has an exciting new low price. Only $2,732.25. It's an amazingly low price for the luxurious DeSoto. You'll get the smoothest, steadiest ride you've ever known with DeSoto's Torsion Air ride. Plus, a lower center of gravity for safer, more stable roadability. You'll get DeSoto's beautiful new Flight Sweep styling, the most distinctive styling on the road. You'll get DeSoto's big car power and comfort. And you'll get the big and beautiful DeSoto 4-door sedan for only $2,732.25. That's right, only $2,732.25 factory retail price. Of course, state and local taxes, transportation and delivery charges are extra, and prices may vary according to individual dealer policy. Before you buy any new car, test drive the '57 DeSoto. You'll find it hard to believe such a luxurious car sells for so little. But you'll agree, The 57 DeSoto is the most exciting value in cars today. Groucho, Miss Stasia Lamont and Mr. Tom West are waiting to talk to you. So, folks, you go in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word, and you each get an extra $50. It's a common word, something you always have around with you. Stasia, where are you from?
I'm from Vilna, Poland. Poland, Vilna. Which one, Groucho?
You're Polish and your name is Lamont? How do you explain that?
Well, my Polish name is Lewinovna.
Oh.
Now you see why I changed it?
Well, that's a rather poetical name, I think. Levinova, is that it?
Lewinovna.
Oh, well, why did you pick Lamont when there are so many other names available? Marx, for example. That's the name I picked. My name used to be Lamont. Well, in any case, you're a very charming and attractive girl.
Thank you.
And are you married?
No, I'm not.
No, thank you. Have you got a steady boyfriend?
No, I don't have it either.
Well, do you have an unsteady boyfriend?
No. I'm still shopping.
You're still shopping, huh?
Yes.
Well, you won't have any trouble correcting that deficiency, I don't believe. How long have you been in this country?
A few years.
Perhaps you aren't used to American boys. What do you think of them? Do you have any opinions about American boys?
Yes, a lot of them are fresh.
You say they're fresh?
Very fresh.
What do you want? Do you want a stale boy? You wouldn't go to the market and buy a head of cabbage that wasn't fresh, would you?
No, that's not what I mean.
Now, in what way do you say that American boys are fresh, or fresher than the Polish boys?
Well, I went a few times on a date, and they take you in a car, they get fresh to you, they started kissing you. And I get mad, I pull off my shoes and knock all the windows in the car with high heels.
You knocked the windows out of the car with your shoes?
With high heel shoes.
Oh, what were you wearing, horseshoes? Well, next time you want to go out riding, go out with me. I have a horse and buggy, and it doesn't have any windows. Actually, I drive a new DeSoto. And if you go out with me, you can be sure every window in the car will be rolled down. And the door's wide open. Now, what did you do after you smashed the windows? Did you just stay there, and wasn't it kind of chilly in this open car, which was now a convertible?
No, the guys get scared to death. They take me back home.
Well, I admire you for what you did, Stacia. You just keep smashing these windows. And this way, you'll not only keep your good name, but you'll also bankrupt every insurance company in America. Now, who are you? Have you been standing here all this time?
I'm waiting for a bus.
Oh. Don't you feel rather insignificant standing there alongside of... Are you married?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. But I still feel
Who are you? Are you the secret word duck? Who are you?
No, my name is Tom West, Groucho.
Tom West, huh? That's what Horace Greeley said, wasn't it? Tom West, young man, Tom West. Didn't he say that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Now, where are you from, Tom?
Well, originally, Groucho, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, I guess most everyone is, huh? And?
Well, we came out here...
How long ago were you born in Chicago?
26 years, Groucho.
You're 26 years old, huh?
No, I was born 26 years ago.
Well, that makes you around 40, doesn't it? You see, on account of the difference in the time.
Yes, well, I came...
You see, there's 2 hours difference. They go by mountain time. They used to go by central time, but they got weary of it. Now, did you go to school in Chicago or any place else?
It's a rather leading question. Yes, I didn't go to school in Chicago. I came out here when I was just a year old, and...
By yourself?
No, I came with my folks. I wanted to be close to my mother.
Oh.
And so we got out here in about 31, 32, and so I started school out here when I was 6.
Well, what was your main interest in school? Did you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an Indian chief?
No, Groucho, my interest ran in three veins mostly. That was football, track, and women. Or girls.
Well, those are certainly three active sports, all right. And, Tom, what sort of work do you do? That's assuming that you work at all.
I go to school, Groucho, at L.A. State College.
You go to school and you're 26 years old?
Yes. It's inevitable.
You must be pretty high in your class by this time, huh? You could be the teacher. What
I'm
are you
older.
Oh, you're older than the teacher?
Most of them, yeah.
And what are you studying at college?
Dramatics, Groucho.
Oh, you want to be a ham?
Yes. Or an actor.
Well, Stasia, let's find out some more about you. So far, all we know is that you're trying to exterminate the male population of America. What have you been doing since you came to this country, in addition to creating a boom down at the glassworks?
Well, when I first came to New York, I worked in a candy factory.
Oh?
Making candy.
What kind of candy?
Chocolate candy and all kinds of candy.
Taffy?
No.
Gumdrop?
Waffles.
Waffles is candy?
Waffles covered, chocolate covered waffles.
I've had waffles covered chocolate, but I've never had cross-covered waffles, chocolates. Why did you quit this sticky job?
Because I got too sick, eat too much candy.
Well, you ate these waffles all day?
All the time, yeah.
What kind of a job did you get after that?
Then I went to
The same factory?
No, there was a meat factory.
A meat factory. They manufactured meat here?
In New York.
Oh. Well, after you got thrown out of the sausage factory, what did you do?
I was not thrown out of there.
You mean you...
I quit and then I went...
Why did you quit?
It was too hard.
Somebody tried to kiss you in the smokehouse?
Oh, I met a couple of fresh ones there, too.
Have you had any other shattering experiences with American men?
Oh, I have lots of them. Just...
Give us another example of mayhem.
Well, it happened right here in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, you mean? There was a man that was fresh?
On Sunset Boulevard, yes.
This is incredible. Did you report this to Mayor Polson?
I didn't have to.
You mean you took your shoe off again?
No, it just so happened he was driving the car, hang his head out the window and started whistling after me. And the car was in front of him. He didn't see it. And
that wasn't me, huh?
Well, you look like you. I don't say it was you.
Was he driving a DeSoto?
I don't remember because I was just walking on the street and mind my own business.
What happened? He whistled at you?
Well, he hang his head out the window, started whistling and holler, and he smashed into the car in front of him.
Stacy, you know, you have a good chance of wiping out the entire automobile industry. Now, how do you know this fellow who's had his head hanging out the window was fresh? He might have been sick to his stomach. Just because he whistled doesn't mean a thing, you know. Now, does it?
Oh, yes, it does. Only wolves whistle. The wolves.
The wolves whistle? It's not true. A whistle can mean anything. I whistled at a dog this morning. And you know what he did? He climbed into my car and smashed every window I had. Well, you're a charming and attractive couple, and I'd like to go on talking to you two, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life. So let's see how you can do in the quiz. You know your partners now, and we want one answer between you on everything, huh? You selected a movie quiz. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Now, here are the stars. You tell me what picture it was. Clark Gable, Ava Gardner, and Grace Kelly.
Magambo.
No. All right, it's Magambo, but on the next question, you ask her first, see?
You have 1 right, 3 more right, and you'll have $1,000.
All right, now who plays the title role in the movie version of King Richard III?
We believe it's Laurence Olivier.
Yeah, you don't have to go any further. You're absolutely right.
2 right, 2 more right, and you'll have $1,000.
Okay, one of the great movies of all time was The Wizard of Oz. What comedian played the Cowardly Lion?
It was Bert Lahr, Groucho.
Bert Lahr is correct.
You're almost there. Get the next one right, and you'll have $1,000.
Who is the Danish actor who created the role of Dr. Christian? It was Gene Herschel.
Herschel, yes.
Sorry, you're back to one wrong again.
Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days has been made into a picture. Who produced it?
Michael Todd.
That's right. Mike Todd is right.
One right again.
Now, what studio's trademark is a snow-capped mountain with a semicircle of stars over it?
It's Paramount.
Paramount, that's right. Yeah.
Two right.
How do you say that in Polish? Paramount.
I never heard in Polish Paramount.
No. All right, Hunts Hall, Leo Gorcey, Billy Hallop, and Bobby Jordan made a series of pictures. What was this group of boys called?
The Dead End Kids.
The Dead End Kids is right.
You have three right now. Get the next one right, and you'll have your $1,000.
All right, who played the feminine lead in Trapeze?
Gina Lola Bridget.
Gina Lola Brigida is right. So you've now...
Yes, on the roll. You now have $1,000.
You won $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You might even get a crack at $10,000. So go over there and sit down and think about it. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Now, in just one moment, we'll see if any of our couples will try for the big money. 1957 is a year of great change in cars. So this year, more than ever before, it's important that you compare before you buy. And when you compare, you'll see why we say the all-new 1957 DeSoto is the most exciting car in the world today. Stop by your DeSoto dealers for a test drive. Feel the power DeSoto offers to let you command any road, any time, anywhere. Experience the ease and convenience of triple-range push-button driving, the quick response of torque-flight transmission. Discover the thrill of DeSoto's Torsion Air ride, the smoothest, softest, steadiest ride ever, and the control of DeSoto full-time power steering. Yes, drive the new DeSoto in city traffic, on the highway, on rough, bumpy roads, and try a fast turn to feel DeSoto's flat sports car cornering. Then price the new DeSoto. You'll be surprised because DeSoto has exciting new low prices, starting just above the lowest. In every feature, it's the most exciting car in the world today.
George, we're ready to see who wants to get a crack at all the big money. Will you bring out the first couple?
All right, Carol Webster and Dan Quigley, would you come back out here, please?
I'm glad to see you back again.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Now, you've won $1,000. Now, you have a chance to win a lot more. Maybe even $10,000. Or you can stop right here and keep your $1,000. If you decide to try for the big money and fail, you wind up with a grand total of $500 between you. Now, what are you going to do?
We're going to go.
Okay. Pick a number and turn the wheel. If any number besides the one you pick comes up, this question is worth $2,000. If the number you pick comes up, the question is worth $10,000. Now, what number do you want?
7.
Give it a twist. Well, your number was 7 and it came on 10. So this question is worth $2,000. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Socrates is one of the greatest philosophers in history. But his wife was so bad-tempered, her name has become proverbial for a nagging spouse. For $2,000, what was the name of the wife of Socrates? All right, what's the answer you've decided upon?
It's not Portia.
No, it's Xantippe. And it's
Oh,
spelled
yes.
Xantippe. And why it's pronounced Xantippe, I'll never know. I'm sorry you missed it, but you wound up with $500. That isn't too bad. Congratulations for being with us. Sorry you didn't win more.
Thanks a lot.
All right, George, bring out the next couple.
Stacia Lamont and Tom West, would you come out, please?
Why, Stacy, it's a pleasure to see you again. Huh?
Who's that?
You won $1,000. Now you have a chance to win a lot more, maybe even 10,000. Or you can stop here and keep your 1,000. If you decide to try for the big money and fail, you wind up with a total of $500. Now, what are you going to do? Obviously, you're going to go ahead, huh?
No, I stop.
You're stopping, huh? Well, so you get $500, and you want to go ahead?
I'm going to go ahead, yes.
You can win $5,000 if you get the big question, or you can win $1,000, or you can win $250. Pick a number. Say
6.
the number out loud and turn the wheel.
6, Groucho.
6. Give it a turn. Well, I was pretty close. Scared the life out of me. Your number was 6, it came up 7. So this question is worth 1,000 or 250. A certain hotel in Tokyo is world famous because it was successfully designed by Frank Lloyd Wright to withstand earthquakes. For $1,000, what is the name of this famous hotel?
I wish I could help myself.
What do you say?
The Tokyo Hotel, Groucho.
No. That's good guessing anyway. It's the Imperial. I didn't know it either. So I'm sorry you missed it, so you wind up with $250. Huh? That isn't too bad. Congratulations,
Thank you very
and
much.
thanks for being with us. Huh?
Be sure to tune in again next week, same time, same station, for Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life. Don't miss the Chrysler Corporation's big TV show on another network. And don't forget Groucho's TV show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America, who invite you to visit your neighborhood showroom today to see and drive the most exciting car in the world today. DeSoto for 1957.
And when you go in, tell them Groucho sent you. So long, folks, and remember, it's the lovely, it's dynamic, it's DeSoto.
Here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. When you're behind the wheel, be a wise driver, not a wise guy. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jack Meakin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
From 67 years ago, Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up tomorrow, my friend Irma, Dean and Jerry, also the Abbott and Costello, the Halls of Ivy, Ronald and Anita Coleman, and Superman. Visit our webpage at classicradio.stream. We continue on this Saturday with an episode of the First Nighter program starring Barbara Luddy and Olan Soule.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family, get help now. At Insight Mental Health and Wellness, we help and treat all types of depression and mental issues. We will help you use your insurance to get away from it all, to a beautiful, sunny, and tranquil vacation-like environment, so you can recharge yourself. And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you could take the time off you need from work. Plus, with the Affordable Care Act, your treatment could be 100% covered. If you're suffering from any kind of anxiety, depression, PTSD, eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem, use your insurance and get away from it all. Come to sunny California. Call Insight Mental Health and Wellness now.
800-281-8944. 800-281-8944. 800-281-8944. That's 800-281-8944.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now with the long-running anthology program, the First Nighter program. It always starred a man and a woman in regularly in doing a variety of different programs. And, of course, the First Nighter program theoretically came from the Little Theater off Times Square. Of course, it was all imaginary. And it was the theater of the mind in the prelude to a theater program. This episode from 72 years ago, April 27, 1952, entitled Refresher Course, and stars Barbara Luddy and Olan Soule.
NBC presents The First Nighter program, starring Barbara Luddy and Olan Soule. Theater time, Broadway. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a new play makes its debut at the famous Little Theater off Times Square. We're about to attend one of the most exciting events on the Great White Way, a premiere. And here, waiting to greet us, is our host for the evening, the genial First Nighter.
Good evening. Nice to have you back. Tonight promises to be a gala occasion, so let's not miss any of the excitement. My cab is waiting. Won't you step in? All right, driver, to the Little Theater. Up Broadway, into traffic jams, across 42nd Street, into the heart of Theaterland. There ahead is the Little Theater off Times Square. Well, here we are.
Have your tickets ready, please. Have your tickets ready, please. Good evening, Mr. First Nighter. The usher will show you to your seat.
Thank you. We'll go right in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's certainly a gay scene inside the theater tonight. It'll be time for first curtain in a moment, so let me tell you about the play. It's a sparkling comedy called Refresher Course, written by Virginia Safford Lynn and co-starring Barbara Luddy and Olan Soule. Miss Luddy plays the part of Chauncey, a heretofore normal wife. Mr. Soule is cast as that hardy perennial, a bewildered husband. In the all-star cast are Richard Beals playing Nabby, the 8-year-old son, Jim Backus as the man next door, Bob Jellison as the milkman, and Larry Dobkin as the salesman.
First.
There's the signal for first curtain. The house lights are out, and here's the play.
More toast, Barney? Barney, I said more toast.
Oh, no, thanks.
You're getting your newspaper and your coffee.
Mm.
Nabby, more toast?
Can I have more jam on it, Mom?
No more jam.
Oh, stun.
Oh, what?
Stun, that's nuts spilled backwards.
Nabby, eat your sennerp.
Sennerp?
Yeah, that's prune spelled backwards. By the way, Nabby, how's school?
Oh, just like last year. It's so blamed dumb.
Lots of things are dumb.
Yeah, aren't they, though? But, Dad, don't you wish lots of times you were back in Korea?
Yeah. Well, I don't exactly lie awake nights sobbing into my pillow.
Gee, you don't? Finish your breakfast, Nabby. Barney, can you think of anything you'd like for dinner?
That'd be fine.
Barney, you didn't hear a word I said.
Well, sure I did. What'd you say? Oh, great Scott, look at the time. Come on, hurry up, Nabby, or I won't have time to drop you off at school.
Oh, where are your books, Nabby? Have you got your lunch?
Come on, Nabby, get a move on.
I'm coming. Goodbye, Ma. Bye. Goodbye, Barney.
What?
I said goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, well. Oh, dear. He didn't even remember to kiss me goodbye. Oh.
Hey, Barney!
Oh, just a minute, Peter.
Oh, hello, Chauncey. Has Barney left?
Well, if you'd come around the front way, you'd have caught him, Peter.
Oh, well, it wasn't important. Is that coffee I smell?
Uh-huh. Would you like some?
Well, of course I'd like some. Pour me a cup while you tell me what you were weeping about.
Why, I haven't been weeping.
Oh, Chauncey. You can tell Uncle Peter all about it.
But there isn't anything to tell. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. No cream or sugar, please.
When we were first married, he always kissed me goodbye. He could hardly tear himself away to the office. And every evening he wanted to go wherever I wanted to go. I used to get all worn out trying to think of places to go. Oh, it was so romantic.
Yeah, and now?
Now he doesn't notice me any more than if I were this coffee pot.
Well, he'd probably notice even that coffee pot if it boiled over.
You mean I should blow my lid?
Oh, no, it's nothing to get excited about. The only trouble is that you both bogged down. Now, what you need is, sort of a refresher course.
What do you mean?
Well, to be brutal, have you tried looking in the mirror lately?
Well, yes.
Well, now, here, you go over to the mirror and take a real good gander at yourself. Okay. Now look.
All right. Oh, no.
Pardon me for pointing.
It must be the light.
When did you last have a permanent?
Well,
And when did you last have a new dress?
But, Peter, I...
No wonder Barney hides behind the morning paper.
Oh, he doesn't love me anymore.
Oh, come, sure he does. He's just settled down before his time, that's all, and so have you. Now, come on. You get your hat.
But, Peter...
You've got a hat, haven't you?
Well, of course I have, but where am I going in
The
it?
best beauty shop in town, next to the swankiest dress shops and the silliest hat shops. You're buying out the town, my girl. With Barney's money, of course.
But Peter...
Come on,
I've got to
Galatea. Pygmalion is going to work.
Hey, Dad, wait a second.
Where? For a minute, I thought it was Joe DiMaggio. Who won?
Oh, the other guys. I was catching.
Why do they keep letting you catch?
I own the mint.
Oh. All right. Come on, scrape off some home plate and get ready for dinner.
Gee, I'm hungry. Hey, Mom, I'm hungry.
We're home, Chatsy. Chatsy?
Hey, where's Mom? Why isn't dinner cooking?
Well, this is a fine thing.
Oh, there's the front door. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom, where'd you... Well, hey.
Hello, Nabby.
Well, we were beginning to wonder what... Well, for Pete's sake.
Well, good grief, what's the matter? Haven't you ever seen me before?
I don't think we have.
Gee. Hey, Mom, are you going into the movies?
Why are you both acting so silly?
Oh, but, Chatsy, what have you done to yourself?
Oh, that. I suppose it's the new hairdo.
Well, it's certainly the new something.
Say, what's in all the boxes?
Oh, just a few dozen things I needed.
Well...
What's the matter? Is something wrong?
Well, if it is, it doesn't show. Nabby, is this glamour gal anyone we know?
Search me. Golly, no wonder dinner wasn't ready.
Dinner? Oh, I forgot all about it, you poor starving thing.
Oh, that's all right. After all, what's dinner? Just food, that's all.
But we'll go right out and have dinner somewhere.
Out?
Yes, just as soon as I run upstairs and change into a dinner dress.
Well, what's the matter with that thing you've got on?
Oh, darling, this is an afternoon dress.
Did it set me back as much as I know it must have?
I forgot to ask the price. I'll be down in just a second, boy.
Golly. Say, Dad, maybe I better wear my good T-shirt.
What?
Oh, gee, Dad, don't take it so hard. These things happen in the movies all the time.
Yeah. But how did they get into our house?
Yeah, that's what I say. Who's the man?
All of a sudden, why should she... Who's the what?
There's always a guy back of it, Dad.
For heaven's sake, what are you talking about?
It happened in the movie just last night. The dame got to looking like an old frump.
Just a minute, young man. Your mother is not a dame, and she is not an old frump.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this lady went off her nut about some guy, and he kept wanting her to fly with him. I guess he had an airplane.
For Pete's sake, get those weird ideas out of your head, Nabby. Your mother wouldn't even look at anyone.
Yup, that's what the poor old husband thought.
Nabby! Now, you stop that this minute.
Yes, sir. But just the same, it looks pretty bad.
It looks nothing of the kind.
Then what made Mom get all dolled up all of a sudden?
Why, simply because... golly, it does look kind of odd, doesn't it?
And the curtain comes down on the first act of tonight's play in the Little Theater off Times Square.
Smoking in the outer lobby or downstairs, please. Smoking in the outer lobby or downstairs, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Vincent Pelletier with an important message.
Greater happiness for more people. That's the result of many decades of proving that the American economic system is the best system in the world. Here in America, each of us is free to work in the place and calling of his own choice. No man can tell us what job we must do. We are free to bargain collectively. We are free to contract about our own affairs, to own property, to start an enterprise, and to profit from our own inventiveness. This is progress, the progress of a free people under a system which ensures the perpetuation of freedom. So let's all boost the American economic system and try to improve it even further. Remember, the better we produce, the better we live.
Second.
The first nighters are hurrying down the aisles to their seats. The lights are dimmed, and here's the second act of Refresher Course.
Oh, stun. Ouch. Doggone it.
Hey, is breakfast ready? Say, Dad, what are you doing?
Oh, I just burned my finger clear off up to the elbow, that's all.
Oh, gee, that's all right, Dad. I didn't want any oatmeal anyway. Where's Mom?
Your mother is making herself glamorous. Sit down and don't argue.
Yes, sir.
By the way, Nabby, that movie you were telling me about, the wife and this other man, how did that turn out?
Well, Sammy Page and I got to wrestling under the seats, and I missed the end.
Is the picture still playing at the Bijou?
Gee, I don't know. Say, you could meet me after school, and we could go see if it's still there, huh?
Certainly not. Eat your breakfast.
Oh, yes, sir. Have you figured out who the man is yet, Dad?
Now, listen, Barnaby. You're to forget all this nonsense. Your mother would never look at another man. Anyway, she doesn't know any other man.
Oh, in this movie, the guy kept disguising himself as a vacuum cleaner salesman.
Never mind, Barnaby. I told you to forget this nonsense.
Yes, sir. But you know, Dad, sometimes when a wife gets kind of fed up with an old broken-down husband, she...
I am not an old broken-down husband.
I'll go to the door.
You eat your breakfast.
Well, good morning. Oh, pardon me. I was expecting the lady of the house.
Oh, you were?
Yes. I represent the Jolly Jiffy Vacuum Cleaner Company. I have an attachment here that might interest you.
Whatever attachment you have here doesn't interest me in the least.
How was that, sir?
Good morning. Who does he think he is, anyway? And just who is he, anyway?
Who was it, Dad?
Nobody. Drink your milk.
The milkman!
Just a minute.
Well, and how's my... Oh, I was expecting your wife.
Oh, you too, huh?
Do you know what she wants today?
I apparently don't know what she wants any day.
Well, I'll just leave the usual.
You, come around here every morning, hmm?
That's right. Sometimes I come back on my afternoon run, too.
Oh, you do, huh?
Yeah. Nice morning, isn't it?
Yes, exceedingly nice.
Say, Dad, do you suppose...
Never mind. Eat your toast.
Good morning, darling.
Mom, where've you... Say, get a load of Mom. Wow.
Well, wow, indeed.
What do you call that, Mom? A nickel G?
Just a house coat, dear. I had no idea I was taking so long. You'll be awfully late to the office, Barney.
As a matter of fact, I'm not going downtown this morning.
You're not going down to the office?
What's wrong with that?
Oh, goody. Can I stay home from school?
No, and eat your breakfast.
I ate my breakfast.
That's no excuse. By the way, Chotsy, the milkman was here
among others.
Oh, dear, I wanted to see him. Well, maybe I can catch him this afternoon.
Oh? You know, on second thought, I don't believe I'll go to the office at all today.
Why, Barney, don't you feel well?
I feel fine for an old broken-down husband.
They went and changed the bill.
It's all right, Nabby. Doesn't matter in the least. I had no desire to see the picture you told me about. I enjoyed the pictures we saw. All three of them.
Those were sure keen murders, weren't they? Did you suspect that it was the old family friend next door all the time?
No. He seemed like a rather nice chap.
Well, I'll tell you,
Now,
Dad.
Nabby, we're forgetting all this. We've just built it up out of nothing, and it's just a lot of nonsense.
Yes, sir.
Now, come on, get in the car and let's go home. And see what your mother's up to now.
Honestly, Peter, I can hardly believe it.
Well, didn't I tell you it would work?
I know, but I never dreamed he'd stay home from the office the very first day.
Well, listen, you'd better not overdo this glamour stuff. He might give up his work altogether.
Oh, Peter. Why, Barney.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, hello, Big Barnaby and Little Barnaby.
How was the movie, Nabby?
Oh, keen.
Yeah, we suspected everybody from the butler to the... It never occurred to us it was the old family friend next door all the time. You come over to see me about anything in particular, Peter?
Oh, I didn't come over to see you at all. I brought over the hat box that your beautiful wife left in my car yesterday.
Oh.
Put it on, Chotsy, and let's see if it looks as oomph as it did in the shop.
Oh?
All right, now, just a minute. I have to get it on just right or just wrong. Okay. Ta-da.
Barney? Nabby? Don't tell me that I haven't got good taste.
It never occurred to me that our tastes were so, similar.
Yeah, well, perhaps I'd better run along.
Yes, perhaps you'd better.
Barney. Goodbye, Peter.
So long. Be seeing you.
No doubt.
Thanks for everything, Peter.
Oh, it was really nothing.
Well, I'd better get busy.
Seems to me you've already had quite a full day.
Oh, well, I haven't done anything.
Oh, yeah? Or rather, oh, no?
You both had better get washed up.
Gee, if you'll excuse the expression, Dad, it kind of looks as if we're already washed up.
Is your newspaper interesting?
Oh, yes, very. Don't you want to read a book or something?
With all the things I know, I could write a book.
Well, you don't want to just sit and look at me all evening, do you?
Oh, pardon me. I hadn't realized that I was...
Dad! Oh, good evening, Mom. Hey, Dad, can I talk to you a minute, please?
Certainly. I'm available at any time. Excuse us, Chotsy.
He's already had his allowance for this week, Barney.
Nabby, did you find that movie?
No, but we don't need it now, Dad. The one I just saw has all the dope. It was a deal where the poor old broken-down husband...
Stop saying that!
Yes, sir. Well, this wife, see, was tired of him, he thought. So he tested her. He said he was leaving her.
Oh, he did, huh?
And then the wife falls down on her knees, and with tears streaming down her puss, begs him to stay. No, do not go, Herschel, for it is you I love. Then everything's swell, see?
Okay, now get up off your knees, Nabby.
Are you going to try it, Dad?
Certainly not. You think I'm crazy? And from now on, you're to forget about this whole thing, you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's still just wonderful, Peter. He just sits and stares at me.
I guess I know a thing or two.
Oh, you're marvelous. In fact, I could simply hug you.
Well, what's holding you back?
Just for that, I will. Why, Barney, are you home?
Well, hello there, Barnaby.
I forgot my cowbell.
Bell? Oh, say, yes, it did look bad, didn't it? Oh, well, think nothing of it, pal. That's nothing to the rest of the stuff that we've been putting over on you.
That's what you think.
Well, I'd better be running along.
Yes, much better.
Barney. Goodbye, Peter.
So long.
Barney, is anything the matter? You're acting so funny.
Chatsy, I have news. I am leaving.
Oh, where are you going, dear? Down the corner?
I mean, I'm leaving you. I'm moving out. I'm going away. I'm getting out of your life forever.
Barney, you're joking. Aren't you?
It's the way things will have to be.
You mean... What do you mean?
I mean, I am going.
But what's the matter? You have to have a reason. You can't just...
Must I explain the reason?
No, you needn't. It's very obvious. It's been obvious for a long time.
Long time.
Very well, if that's the way you feel, very well.
Very well.
Go on, go ahead and leave.
Go ahead.
It's perfectly all right with me, and don't let me detain you.
Now, let's not be hasty about this.
I'm sick and tired of all this. I'm all fed up. You're the meanest, most unreasonable person I ever saw.
But, Chatsy.
Don't you ever dare say another word.
But, Chatsy, listen. Chatsy? For Pete's sake, it wasn't supposed to turn out that way.
And the curtain comes down on the second act of tonight's play in the Little Theater off Times Square.
Smoking downstairs. We're in the outer lobby, please.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, once more, Vincent Pelletier.
There's more wonderful entertainment in store for you all evening long right here on NBC, friends. Here, Burgess Meredith, Boris Karloff, and Margaret Phillips co-starring in the Theater Guild on the Air production of The Sea-Wolf. And later this evening, you'll want to hear a special program in honor of the 20th anniversary of One Man's Family. Yes, tonight on this special program, you'll hear Mr. and Mrs. Bob Hope and their 4 children, Phil Harris and Alice Faye with their 2 lovely daughters coming over after their show, Judy Canova with her daughter, Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Edwards and their son and 2 daughters, and Frank Lovejoy and his wife Joan Banks with their 2 children. All of these NBC stars and their families will be helping One Man's Family to celebrate their 20th anniversary. Tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Thank you. Last curtain.
First nighters are all in their seats, ready for the last act, and there goes the curtain.
Well, hello there, Nabby.
Sir, I have come to talk to you, if you'll excuse the expression, as man to man.
Oh, yeah, well, in that case, you'd better come in.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Do we sit down, sir?
No, I guess I'll just stand up, Uncle Peter, thanks. Sir, I have come on my bended knees to ask you not to bust up a little child's home.
What little child?
Me.
Oh, wait a minute, how was that again?
Maybe you don't know that all is discovered.
All is what?
We know all.
Oh, you do? Well, all what?
How Mom got all dolled up because she was keen on you.
Oh, that. Well, yes, we thought... Oh, wait a minute. Keen on me?
Who else?
Oh, now, listen, Abby. I was the one who suggested that she is... Well, in fact, it was the only... Good heavens. You mean she did it to please me?
Sure. Didn't she?
But I know, but how could she be so interested in me?
Search me. Well, I just dropped in to appeal to your better self. I gotta beat it now.
No, wait.
I gotta go, Uncle Peter. So long.
But, Nabby, this is... Well, I'll be blasted. This is the most amazing. I wonder if I need a shave first.
Why, Peter, what's the matter with you?
Now, Chotsy, don't draw away.
Well, why are you acting this way?
Chotsy, we can't deny this thing.
What thing? Peter, is that cologne that you simply reek of?
Yeah, it's called Come and Get Me. Now, look, Chotsy, you've got to listen to how I feel about you.
You'd better listen to how I feel about you right now.
Oh, Chotsy, dear.
And don't Chotsy dear me.
But, Chotsy.
Oh, don't you realize what you've done?
But, Chotsy, I couldn't help it. I didn't know you cared.
Well, of course I cared.
Well, I'll be blasted. Oh, Chotsy, darling.
Now, you stop that. The whole thing's your fault.
Well, I just didn't realize I was so attractive.
You've ruined my entire life. That's what you ruined.
Well.
Oh.
You have the most annoying habit of sneaking up on people. Pardon me.
Perhaps I should have my entrance into my own home announced with a police siren?
But, Barney, what are you doing home in the middle of the afternoon?
It's Saturday afternoon, and I had nowhere else to go. And don't change the subject. Let's get back to the part about Peter ruining your life. Let's have a nice long chat about that, shall we?
Well, then, now, Barney, listen.
Now, you look here, Barney. It was just...
I'll answer the phone.
I'll answer the phone.
Why don't we all answer the phone in chorus?
Hello.
Hey, Dad.
Where are you? And stop doing whatever you're doing.
Hey, I found that movie, the one I didn't know how it turned out.
I'm not at all interested in what
Listen,
happened.
I'm phoning from the lobby. Here's what's happened so far.
That makes no difference.
Listen carefully, Dad. This is very secret stuff.
Yeah?
Here's what the old broken-down husband did.
Yeah? Oh, he did, huh?
You'll be trying it out while I get back to my seat and see how it ends.
Now, we'll have no more of this. Hello. Hello? Oh, for Pete's sake.
What was that, Barney?
Oh, just a business advisor of mine. Now, where were we?
Look, let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah, let's. I seem to be walking around on them barefoot.
Barney, listen, it was...
Peter, my friend.
Hey, what are you shaking hands with me for?
Just to wish you all the best and be good to her, old man, won't you?
Good to her old man?
Yeah. Be good to little Chotsy here.
Barney, well, what do you mean?
Well, good heavens, you sound as if you were making me a present of her.
I have no other choice, old fellow. Well, I'll go upstairs and get my little suitcase.
But, Barney, wait.
But, Barney, listen. But, Gray, I didn't mean it. I mean, oh, for the love of heaven, what have I got myself into anyway?
It isn't his fault. It's all your fault.
It is not my fault.
It is too.
Here I come again, folks.
Barney, listen.
Look, Barney,
Just on my way out and stop to say goodbye. Good luck, and I hope you'll both be very happy.
But, Barney,
Listen, Barney, don't.
Goodbye, all.
Hey, Dad, wait a minute.
Hey, why aren't you at the movies attending to business?
Gee, I couldn't phone again, Dad, because I didn't have any more dough. Golly, I had to run all the way home. Did it work, Dad?
Oh, yes. Yeah, worked me right out into the street with a suitcase.
Say, that's just what happened in the picture.
You mean it didn't have a happy ending after all?
Oh, yeah. The poor old broken-down husband went out and got hit by a train.
Oh, how jolly.
Dad, it made the wife sorry and everything was swell.
Now, listen, if you think I'm going out and find a train and get... In fact,
Dad, you got an idea?
Yeah, I've got an idea. Stand back, Nabby.
Why?
Just stand back now.
Dad, what are you going to do? Dad, what are you doing?
Hey, look out!
Dad!
Barney, what is it?
Hey, what happened?
Oh, Barney, speak to me.
Hello, Chotsy?
Barney, are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. Why get so excited? I merely dropped my suitcase quite by accident in front of a passing car, that's all.
Now, what is the big idea? You crazy or something?
Sorry. Perfectly all right. My fault. Think nothing of it.
Yeah, well, next time you look what you're doing, Bub.
Boy, it sure wrecked your suitcase up, Teen Dad.
Yeah, there's not much. Hey, wait a minute. Look here. This suitcase didn't have anything in it. It was empty.
Well, my gracious, how absent-minded can you be?
Barney, you weren't really leaving at all.
Why, certainly I wasn't leaving. What do you take me for?
Oh, I'll be blasted.
Oh, Barney, I was so scared. Oh, Barney.
Why, Chotsy, you do love me.
Well, what did you think was the matter with me?
We just thought you were nuts, Mom.
It was all Peter's fault. He said I'd let myself get into a dowdy rut. So I tried to make myself beautiful for you, Barney.
For me? Golly, I never thought of that.
Well, Peter thinks that sometimes married people need sort of a refresher course.
Oh, he does he?
Yeah, well, I guess I'd better be running along home now.
Yes, I guess you'd better.
Well, bye now.
That'll teach you to meddle in other people's affairs.
Want to bet?
Oh, Barney, dear.
Chotsy, darling.
Oh, stunned folks, not out here on the street.
Oh, excuse us, Nabby. Come on into the house, precious.
Honey.
Oh, that mush stuff. I'm going back to Hopalong Cassidy. I bet you I've aged 10 years.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the premier performance of what looks like a new hit play on the Great White Way at the Little Theater off Times Square. Miss Luddy and Mr. Soule are taking bows. They brought out Jim Backus from the wings, and the audience is giving them a great ovation. Next week, we hope you'll join us again and bring your friends to hear a tense drama about a girl and a prizefighter called Payoff. It's one of the most exciting plays of the season. I'll count on seeing you next week at this same time. And now we move out of the theater and into the street.
Here's your cab, Mr. First Nighter.
Thank you. Good night.
The First Nighter program starring Olan Soule and Barbara Luddy is a copyrighted radio feature produced and directed by Joseph Ainley. Tonight's play was pure fiction and did not refer to real people or actual events. The First Nighter program is a Frank Cooper Associates production. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
With a supporting role by Jim Backus in this episode of the First Nighter program, Barbara Luddy, Olan Soule in Refresher Course from 72 years ago, April 27th, 1952. Up next, the CBS Radio Workshop here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit classicradio.stream.
What you doing, Ed? Pitching a tent?
Nope, just fixing up a fallout shelter for my livestock.
Well, how are you going to use the tarpaulin?
I plan to extend it out from the barn over this framework. I can get quite a few cattle under it. Those I can't get into the barn, anyway.
How do you expect to feed them when there's fallout all over the place?
I don't the first day or two. I'll just leave enough food and water where they can get at it. They'll get along all right.
I sure hope you never have to use that tarp. Against fallout, I mean.
Me too. But if this country's ever attacked, fallout'll be my biggest problem. And I'm going to be prepared.
Now there's a wise farmer.
And a practical one, too.
He's not only prepared a shelter area for his family, but he's making sure his livestock will be protected as well.
Remember, if there should be a nuclear attack on us, farm animals as well as human beings can be injured, even killed, by radioactive fallout.
Be prepared. Learn how to protect your livestock wherever possible from radioactive fallout.
Do it today.
And a lot of those shelter plans are available right now by going to CivilDefenseMuseum.com. That's CivilDefenseMuseum.com. The CBS Radio Workshop, back in the 40s, it was the Columbia Workshop, and then after a few years, it just kind of went away. And then came back in the, I think it was 1955, 1956, 1957. CBS did some programs that were somewhat innovative. And this is one of those, using radio, using tape, and using the many techniques that have been developed over the years, many of which are forgotten today, I'm sad to say. This episode from 68 years ago, April 27, 1956, although it is called a comedy, I would say it's more in the realm of farce. Howard McNear, Lou Huston, as two record collectors being interviewed by the inimitable John Dehner. This is called The Record Collectors.
Who played the rhythmic bones on Nora Bay's 1919 recording of The Village Vamp?
Aristotle Fig. Any boob would know that.
CBS Radio, a division of the Columbia Broadcasting System, and its 217 affiliated stations present the CBS Radio Workshop, dedicated to man's imagination, the theater of the mind. Tonight we spin the hands of the clock backward into the fascinating past to bring you an unusual symposium of early American popular music, explored by the eminent Dr. Vincent Arbogast and Mr. Titus McFatridge, the record collectors. Our special guests will be the noted singer, Miss Margaret Whiting, composer-conductor, Mr. Lynn Murray, and a great voice from the past, Miss Margaret Young. And now here is our moderator, Mr. John Dehner.
Good evening. Some people collect stamps, seashells, or old coins. Others collect paintings, butterflies, or match covers. With us tonight are two gentlemen who collect old records. They are Dr. Vincent Arbogast and Mr. Titus McFatridge. To take them in alphabetical order, Let's hear first from Dr. Arbogast. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Dehner, and friends out there in Radioland.
And Mrs. Tessie Dorblin in La Jolla.
Before we get to our records, I'd like to talk about what you two gentlemen do. I mean in the field of commerce as opposed to your hobby. Dr. Arbogast, you are a breeder of giant frogs, right?
Yes, Mother and I have a frog farm at Costa Mesa.
Dr. Arbogast, are you a real doctor?
Well, let me answer your question with a question, Mr. Dehner. Are frogs entitled to medical services?
If they're sick?
You would deny them medical service if they were well?
No, I didn't say that, Doctor. All I asked you was, are you a medical doctor?
No.
I see.
Well, one day several years ago, a mutinous assistant at the farm challenged one of my frog-feeding formulae. I told him, that formula, or pack your duds.
An ultimatum.
Pack your duds. He simpered. You're the doctor.
The weasel.
That's how you became Dr. Vincent Arbogast.
Yes.
Now, Mr. McFatridge, you, I believe, are engaged in the field of teratology, right?
Roger?
Titus heard an aeronautus use that as a form of agreement.
Oh. Well, what is teratology, Mr. McFatridge?
The science of creating monsters.
Monsters?
I made a dilly for a Christmas parade in Muncie, Indiana, for a department store.
Well, what kind of monster was it? Specifically, I mean.
Well, sir, I took the body of a crocodile, the head of the bearded yak, and the wings of the condor. Beautiful. I felt I had something here that would frighten any child.
At a Christmas parade, is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Did it work?
No. There were no children to frighten. They had all fled in terror from the first exhibit in the parade, a monster 5 floats ahead.
What was that?
Well, sir, it was a man-like thing stuffed into a flaming red suit with a raging white beard. As it lashed its reindeer, it waved ferociously in all directions, shouting threats at the crowd. The children left.
Now, as I understand it, you two gentlemen plan to present tonight your views on American popular music. So, may we have your first recording, please?
It is the hit tune of 1923, Toot Toot Tootsie. It is sang by that very popular duo of vaudeville and records, Billy Murray and Ed Smalley.
And note the realistic train whistle interpolated into the rendition.
Yesterday I heard a lover sigh. Goodbye. Said goodbye. Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my, oh. 7 times he got aboard his train. And 7 times he hurried back to kiss his love again and tell her toot-toot-tootsie goodbye. Toot-toot-tootsie, don't cry. Oh, please don't cry, little tootsie. The choo-choo train that takes me far away from you. No words can tell how sad it makes me. Kiss me, tootsie, and then do it over again. Kiss me again, sweet mama. Watch for the mail. I promise I'll never fail. You know if you don't get a letter, then you'll know I'm in jail. Toot 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 tootsie, don't cry. Toot toot tootsie, goodbye.
Toot Toot Tootsie, the 1923 hit sung by Billy Murray and Ed Smalley.
They don't make records like that these days, Mr. Dehner.
Dr. Arbogast, how long have you been collecting records?
30 years, 4 months, approximately.
And how many do you have, approximately?
Really, I wouldn't venture to say. I measure my collection by values far removed from consideration of mere number. Oh, let the banker count his money, let the farmer weigh his crops. But upon what adding machine, upon what scales can a collector measure the value of his treasure?
Well, Dr. Arbogast, how do you measure the value of the records in your collection?
I realized that everybody was collecting the records of artists who were so good that the public didn't appreciate them. But nobody was saving the records of the singers and musicians who were popular in their day. I determined to remedy that deplorable situation.
How?
I set out to acquire records that once sold by the millions. The records the general public paid its money for.
Well, now, do I understand you to say that there are no really great artists in your collection?
Not at all. It occasionally happens that a truly fine artist is acclaimed by the public as well as by the critics. In such a case, I would not let an artist's superior talent bar him from a place in my collection.
I see. Now let's hear from our other collector, Mr. Titus McFatridge.
The records in my collection, if laid side by side, would cover 2/3 of the space of a basketball court.
Well, that's very interesting. How many records does that make?
I really haven't the slightest idea. I share Dr. Arbogast's views on the stupidity of counting the items in one's collection.
But how did you arrive at the figure of how much of a basketball court your records would cover if you don't know how many you have?
Empirically and incidentally. At one time, I resided at the YMCA at Muncie, Indiana. I needed to catalog and sort out my records. Since my room was small, the secretary of the YMCA, Stanley Proctor by name, kindly gave me permission to spread out my records in the gym while the fellows on the team were in the showers. I noted that my records took up 2/3 of the basketball court. Now, those wishing to know exactly the number of records might write to the Muncie, Indiana YMCA for the dimensions of the court, and by the aid of simple arithmetic, compute the number of records I had at that time. Stanley Proctor, however, is no longer there. He was, I believe, transferred to Terre Haute in 1932.
Well, it doesn't matter, Mr.
Fort Wayne, not Terre Haute, pardon me.
Now, gentlemen, we move on to our first guest. Mr. Lynn Murray is a distinguished conductor in the field of popular music. His background might best be summed up by referring to his work on the hit parade with the excellent Lynn Murray choristers. For many years, Mr. Murray has brought Americans live, vibrant interpretations of their most popular ballads. Mr. Murray, it's a pleasure and privilege to have you here and to introduce you to my two colleagues, Dr. Arbogast and Mr. McFatridge.
Yes, how old are you?
Well, now, Dr. Arbogast, it's not necessary to...
A man's age is very necessary.
But
I have no objections to giving my age.
Oh, see, by the way, did you say Billy Murray?
Lynn, L-Y-N. I was born in 1909.
Oh. Well, that makes you, 46.
Gentlemen, please. I've just invited Mr. Murray to play his latest disc.
Disc, Mr. Dehner?
I didn't realize Mr. Murray was a member of the Olympic team.
No, disc, gentlemen, platter. Wax, recording.
No wonder these modern musicologists can't produce decent renditions. And they don't even agree what to call them.
Gentlemen, please, courtesy at least. Now, Mr. Murray, would you give us the title of your latest record?
It's called He's Got Time, and the members of the cast are Jane Russell, Connie Haynes, and Beryl Davis.
Never heard of them.
Of course not.
Let's listen to Mr. Murray's record.
He's got time. He's got time. You may not walk his way today, but he's got time. Because his rainbow didn't get that bright overnight. His roses didn't get to flower in and out. His heaven didn't get that blue in a minute or two. So he's got time and he can't wait for you. He can wait. You hesitate. You may not seek his love today, but he can wait to teach his little birdies how to tweet. Takes a week to teach his ivy how to climb. Takes some time and teaching sinners how to pray. Keeps him busy all day, but he's got time and he can't wait for you. He's got time. Took him time to make a shining rainbow. You may not walk his way today, but he's got a valley full of spring, because his rainbow didn't get that bright overnight. His roses didn't get to flower in and out. His heaven didn't get that blue in a minute or two. too, so he's got time and he can wait for you. He's got time, he's got time, he's got time, he's got time, lots of time.
Well, gentlemen, Mr. Lynn Murray's latest recording.
It's a pity to put those unsullied young ladies at such a disadvantage. Recording under this electronic hodgepodge. Where is the surface noise? Where are those lived-with sounds?
Well, gentlemen, perhaps now the public can hear the music. Isn't that the general idea, Mr. Murray?
Yes, it is. We're constantly striving for better forms of reproduction, you know. Today, thanks to high fidelity...
High fidelity? Music for dogs.
I read just the other day of a basset hound who, upon hearing a rendition of the funeral march on his master's high-fidelity set, went out and cut his throat.
A crime against society.
These people should be reported to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. That equipment...
Electrical equipment, blaring out noises all over the land. Soon we shall have a nation of deafened canines.
Man's best friend.
But, gentlemen, what did you think of Mr. Murray's record?
Sir, this is an electric recording, is it not?
Well, yes, Vincent. It isn't Mr. Murray's fault that the power is in the control room, you know.
Well, Dr. Arbogast, are you referring to what I understand was the acoustical or mechanical method?
The time-honored method, where the artist played or sang into the horn, and his true vibrations were directly stenciled onto the wax mother.
But that's one of the most primitive...
Primitive? Has anyone improved on the wheel?
Thank you, Mr. Murray, for being with us and for bringing along your latest EP recording. He's got time.
EP, Mr. Dehner?
EP?
That means extended play, gentlemen. Surely you realize records come in various sizes and speeds.
Aha, oh yes, now we're at the heart of the matter.
There is only one size, Mr. Dehner, one speed.
Yes, 78 revolutions per minute, 10 inches in diameter. Although I have heard there is a small group of malcontents who are considering using 12-inch records.
Nothing will ever come of it. Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Murray, for being our guest.
It was a pleasure, Mr. Dehner.
Good night. Gentlemen.
Good night, Mr. Murray.
Good night, Mr. Murphy.
Dr. Arbogast, you have a record, I believe.
This record dates back 33 years to 1919. It features one of the most popular feminine singers of that blessed era, the incomparable Miss Nora Bayes.
Nora Bayes.
Oh, very great artist. She introduced Shine On Harvest Moon, didn't she?
Yes, but this record at the time was a very topical number, dealing with the influence of the flickers upon everyday life. The flicker motion pictures.
Yes, sir.
Well, many movies in that early day had a wicked woman of the world who had designs upon the noble hero. Now, these women were called vamps. Among them were, well, let me see, Theda Bara.
Nita Naldi, Jetta Goodall.
Never belabor a point, Mr. McFadden. This record is entitled The Village Vamp and shows the effect of this type of movie upon a simple country girl. The Village Vamp, as sung by Miss Nora Bayes.
Have you heard about Miss Sally Green? Sally Green, Sally Green. Back home she was called the village queen. Sally Green was queen. She took 1/5 to the city. Came back home, oh, what a pity. Now the folks call her the village vamp. She's a vamp. She wears high-heeled shoes and fancy hose. She's a vamp, she's a vamp. Paints her face and powders up her nose. She's a vamp, she's a vamp. Folks all say down in the valley, look what Broadway did to Sally. Everywhere she goes, the roofs all say, hey, there goes the vamp. There goes the vamp.
What? Oh, my. It's wonderful, wonderful, beautiful.
Now, Mr. McFadridge, do you have any special information about this record we just played?
Well, sir, Aristotle Figg was to have played the rhythmic bones on that record date.
Was to have?
They wrote him out at the last minute.
Oh, it's too bad.
Well, Figg never wanted to play the bones anyway. He was a bass drummist at heart. played in the village band back in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
The bandmaster hated his superior talent and was always trying to find a way to get rid of him.
Did he find a way?
Please.
Oh, I beg pardon.
Aristotle Figg's son, Bonafide, dabbled in amateur chemistry. A wretched child, he also chewed bubble gum incessantly. At the Sunday school picnic, he turned up chewing and carrying some of his chemicals in a vacuum flask. He was drinking this mixture in between blowing gum bubbles and listening to the band.
Well, the band was there, sir.
Young Figg didn't know it, but the chemicals he had mixed and was sampling were in just the correct proportions to form helium gas. He blew one monstrous bubble.
What happened?
He took off. There he was, hovering aloft.
But did he just float around aimlessly up there?
No. They shot him down over the bandstand.
Oh.
The minister, fortunately, had his slingshot with him.
Was the boy hurt?
No. He landed on his father's bass drum.
Pretty lucky, huh?
On the contrary, Mr. Dehner. The elder Figg was counting out an 18-bar rest, 3 bars before F in The Poet and Peasant, when boom-ti-boom landed his son. For that interruption, the bandmaster fired Aristotle Figg, who then developed his talent for the rhythmic bones and entered the popular music field.
Now, gentlemen, it's time to listen to the listener. And the letter box is open. I have one here from the South, Tampa, Florida, to be exact. Mrs. J.R.W. She wants to know if it's true that a canary was once a featured soloist on an acoustical recording.
Yes, of course.
Vocalion B-147, starring the feathered songster Miss Lady Bird, formerly with the Ishpeming Mining Company.
Rescued from the mines by an alert Welsh bird lover.
The success of this record awakened the public to the plight of the unfortunate canary used against its will to test the air for poisonous gas.
Thus was founded in Sundown, Indiana, the SFTPOUCIMS, the Society for the Prevention of the Use of Canaries in Mine Shafts.
I see.
Meetings were held. Never let them take another canary down a mine shaft to test the purity of the air, was the battle cry. They had, as a symbol of their crusade, a canary in a cage on a table on stage. After all, if it had been intended for birds to be under the damp ground, birds would have been born there.
But birds are not born under the ground.
But then miners were not...
Spread their wings, said Russell John, and give the canary the air. His audience loved his hatred of humans.
They just sat and puffed orgiastically on their pipes and cigars in high ecstasy. They'd be there today, I think, if that young ruffian hadn't been there.
Emma Shakespeare's son. He had an elastic band and a paperclip and a deadly aim. He shot the paperclip at the little canary on stage.
Oh, so that was quite a mean act. The bird was already unconscious as a result of all the cigar smoke in place.
The paperclip lodged in the bird's bill, startling him so that he bent the little bars of his cage and exit. Still half asleep, the bird didn't know where he was. He flew around the room, shaking his bill to get rid of the paperclip. When he finally did shake it loose, it fell into one of the chandelier's empty sockets.
What happened?
A short circuit. The place burned to the ground, and the people there were incensed. What they felt was an ungrateful canary. A wave of anti-canary feelings swept the town, destroying the society forever.
Well, we can file Mrs. J.R.W.'s letter as answered. Now, gentlemen, I understand your next record is a rare one.
Indeed it is, Mr. Dehner. It was recorded in 1922, and it features that beautiful and talented vaudeville headliner, Miss Margaret Young.
Margaret.
Careful, Titus. Its title is Way Down Yonder in New Orleans.
Garden of Eden, that's what I mean. Creole babies with flashing eyes, softly whisper with tender sighs. Stop, oh, won't you kiss your lady fair, a little smile. Stop, you bet your life you'll linger there a little while. There is heaven right here on earth with those beautiful queens. Way down yonder in New Orleans.
Way Down Yonder in New Orleans, featuring Miss Margaret Young. Now, gentlemen, I have a surprise for you. We have as our special guest this evening none other than Miss Margaret Young.
Oh, bravo. Thank you, boys.
Maggie, we've been admirers of yours for many, many years. They just don't make records like that anymore.
They certainly don't.
Youngsters today have no appreciation for basic values. Maggie, how many copies of that recording were sold?
Oh, over 1 million.
There, you see?
But listen, I didn't come here to play my record. I came to introduce you to my niece. She's the singing star of our family now, and I thought you'd like to meet her and hear one of her records.
Well, if you insist.
Well, boys, just meet my talented niece, whose name is also Maggie.
How do you do?
How do you do?
What's your last name, young lady?
My full name is Margaret Whiting.
Whiting?
A whiting is a fish.
Will you walk a little faster? Said the whiting to the snail. Lewis Carroll, Allison.
The Reverend William Dodson, nom de plume, Lewis Carroll.
Oh, thank you, Titus.
Gentlemen, I should think that you would be quite honored to have as your guest tonight one of America's most popular singers. Margaret Whiting is known from coast to coast. Her records have sold by the millions.
Name one.
Well, there's Come Rain or Come Shine. That one alone sold over 1 million copies.
And would you rank such a song in the same class with Out of a City of 10,000 People, Why Did You Pick on Me?
Oh, that was lovely. Yes, it was, but I remember it well.
That song sold over 1 million copies, Mr. Dehner.
Well, gentlemen, that was a little before my time. After all,
But she's right, Titus. She couldn't be expected to remember the classics. She's still young.
And we must keep in mind, after all, she is Maggie Young's niece.
Yes, that's a good point. Yes, the young lady, we've decided to listen to your record, regardless of our personal feelings in the matter.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. The name of my record is I've Told Every Little Star. I've told every little star just how sweet I think you are. Why haven't I told you? I've told ripples in a brook, made my heart an open book. Why haven't I told you? Friends ask me, am I in love? I always answer yes. Might as well confess. If I don't, they guess. Maybe you may know it too. Oh, my darling, if you do, why haven't you told me? Friends ask me, am I in love? I always answer yes. Might as well confess. If I don't, they guess. Maybe you may know it too. Oh, my darling, if you do, why haven't you told me?
I've Told Every Little Star, by our guest, Miss Margaret Whiting. Well, gentlemen, what did you think? Gentlemen?
Well, perhaps you could tell us something about the record, Miss Whiting.
Well, I'd be delighted. See, it's from a recent LP album I recorded for Capitol.
LP? First it's EP, now it's LP.
One must need a code book just to talk to you people.
LP means long playing, approximately 20 minutes on each side of the record.
Perhaps for people with long ears, huh, Vincent?
Oh, that's very good. Oh, that's very good, yes.
Gentlemen, of course, Margaret Whiting.
A Whiting can't hold a candle to a sardine.
Indeed not. I recall one dinner back in 1907, Vincent, in Kansas City.
Miss Whiting, we appreciate your dropping by.
Well, the pleasure was all mine. Good night, Dr. Arbogast, Mr. McFadden.
The oysters were perfectly dreadful. But the sardines, I recall a young man I met that evening.
Gentlemen, we are discussing recordings.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, the last recording was way down yonder in New Orleans.
Well, no, we just played her niece's, Margaret.
Way down yonder in New Orleans. Most unusual. Most unusual.
Will you have some information on that record?
Yes. Pesach Gaskell, I think, played clarinet on that one. Do you mind Pesach, Vincent?
Oh, yes, I mind Pesach Gaskell well. Good clarinetist. He was a channel swimmer, too.
A channel swimmer?
The best.
There was a champion. Pesach never used grease. He used to flex his little muscles and say proudly, "What's good enough for the blue whale is good enough for me."
Well, gentlemen, our time is up.
Pesach Gaskell was an excellent channel swimmer, and at the drop of a towel he would plunge into empty water that even resembled a channel.
He was once compared favorably with the lemming.
Well, that's it, gentlemen. Our time is up. Now, say good night to our listeners.
Good night, friends, out there in Radioland.
And Mrs. Carrie Mumaw in the Needles Public Library.
By the magic of electronic recording, we have brought you the views of two men, Dr. Vincent Arbogast and Mr. Titus McFatridge, the record collectors. Their guests were Mr. Lynn Murray, noted composer and conductor, the popular singing star Miss Margaret Whiting, and Miss Maggie Young. This is John Dehner saying good night.
The CBS Radio Workshop is produced and directed in Hollywood by William Frug. The Record Collectors was written by William Woodson, Lou Huston, and Larry Thor. Howard McNear was Dr. Arbogast, and Lou Huston was Mr. McFatridge. The moderator was John Dehner. Next week, a new and unusual musical presentation. An original one-act opera for radio composed and conducted by David Brookman, based on the first war between the states. The story of the battle between Michigan and Ohio over the city of Toledo. Told in music and presented on the CBS Radio Workshop.
Some letters tied with glue, a photograph or two. I see a rose from you among my souvenirs. A few more tokens rest within my treasured chest, and though they do their best to give a consolation, I count them all apart, and as the teardrops start, I find a broken heart among my souvenirs.
Innovative, unique, the CBS Radio Workshop from 68 years ago, April 27th, 1956. I want to mention again, come visit us at classicradio.stream. Stream our shows, learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links, and of course, if you'd like to support us, there are items there that for purchase, or you can buy me a copy. That's at classicradio.stream. Tomorrow, as we mentioned, comedy with my friend Irma, Dean and Jerry, also Abbott and Costello, Ronald and Benita Coleman in the Halls of Ivy, and Superman. Monday, we'll get back to drama. Our feature date on Monday will be April 29th, 1962, with episodes of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Mandel Kramer, and an episode of Suspense, Blackbeard's Ace. We'll also hear a 1950 program, T-Man, also Arch Obler's Plays, and an episode of Claudia, which, speaking of Claudia, we'll hear about Claudia and David next.
Survival in the nuclear age is a personal responsibility. Are you prepared?
Mommy! Mommy! Mommy, I fell down and cut my arm. Look.
Now, Johnny, you sit right here. I'll get the first aid kit and fix your arm. Lucky for us, I listened to some good advice and packed all the first aid items in one box. It comes in handy for emergencies like this.
Right you are, Mother. In the day-to-day emergencies or great national disasters, preparedness pays off. Take the first step today.
Assemble all the necessary medicines, bandages, a few extra towels, baking soda, safety pins, and razor blades. Wrap them in a moisture-proof covering and place in an easily carried box. It's a good idea to store your first aid kit in the home shelter, so no matter what happens, from Johnny's cut to a nuclear attack, you and your family will be ready.
Remember, a strong defense begins with a prepared family and ends with a protected nation.
Be prepared. Assemble your emergency first aid kit today.
And in addition to bandages and such, have emergency medications on hand. They have several interesting emergency kits by going to the Wellness Company's website at twc.health. That is twc.health. And have everything you need to take care of yourself should emergency strike, supply chains go down, all of that sort of thing. twc.health. All right, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox wraps up our Saturday edition with an episode of the very sweet soap opera Claudia, sponsored, of course, by Coca-Cola in bottles from years ago. This episode originally broadcast on April 27th, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you, transcribed Monday through Friday, by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
It's getting to be a warm day.
I'm not climbing this hill too fast for you, am I, darling?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Oh, David, look.
What?
There's a mist lying on the road. Just like smoke.
It's there every morning at this hour. Every warm morning.
Really? I never noticed.
Well, we're not usually up and out at this hour. 8:15. Still very early.
Nice to be up early.
Yeah. Let's stop and catch our breath.
Oh, darling, you're so tactful. Catch my breath, you mean? Oh, say, how much time have I got to catch it in? When are we supposed to meet Matthew Warren?
Oh, in about 5 minutes.
Oh, I don't want to keep him waiting. It'd be terrible to get up this early and still be late.
We'll see him coming across the fields.
His fields are ready for planting, aren't they?
I think some of them are planted already.
Oh.
They're as smooth and rich as good brown velvet.
Don't frown, David. Ours will look like that someday.
Sure they will.
Look over in the far pasture. Mr. Warren's cows. How many has he, I wonder?
A pretty fair herd for this part of Connecticut. Looks about like 18 and 20.
All brown and white. Must be Jerseys?
They're the best for cream.
I know. Maybe some of them will wander into our pasture. Be nice to have something grazing in our pasture. Besides crows.
Warren's cows won't wander into our pasture after this morning.
Oh, what a shame. Why not?
But, darling, why do you think we're up so early?
I don't know.
Why do you think I'm taking a later train to New York? What do you think we're meeting Matthew Warren for at the edge of our property?
Don't you remember?
Oh, I give up.
Matthew Warren called you and said, "The winter has made the wall break down in many places, and you and he better get together this morning and repair it." David, how long do you think it'll take?
What?
What are we talking about? To mend the wall, of course.
I don't know. Depends on how much damage the winter has done.
Half an hour, maybe?
Half an hour. At least a few hours.
That long?
That's not so long.
Oh, it's hours. Every other morning you can't wait to rush off, catch your train, and start being an architect again. This morning, just because you're going to repair a boundary wall, you don't care how late you're going to New York.
Well, this is different.
How different? If we're friends with Mr. Warren, whether his cows do come through a break in the wall or whether his cows do graze in the lower pasture, what's the difference?
I don't think Mr. Warren would like it.
Why not if we don't mind? It's our property.
But it's his cows.
Oh.
Mr. Warren has pastures of his own for them.
Oh, you're not making any sense.
I'm not, eh?
I think you're being very stuffy.
Not stuffy, just practical.
I say stuffy. And I think stuffiness and walls make life unfriendly and unneighborly.
Darling, Why do you think the New Englanders who first settled here bothered to clean their fields of stone and build walls with them?
Well, it's obvious they couldn't farm or plant their land when it was scattered with stones. Why, David, even you know that. Anyway, that was 300 years ago, darling.
Oh, but that's not a long time.
Long enough for me. Longer than we'll ever... Well, I've caught my breath again. We better start walking.
Okay. Now watch where you're going.
It's awfully brambly around here, isn't it?
Someday I'd like to get this side of the hill cleared.
It's a beautiful walk to the top. My ankles come home scratched to the bone.
You have to keep after her every minute, don't you?
After who?
Nature.
Oh, her.
You coming?
Yep. Right behind you.
Just a little ways and we'll be at the top of the hill. I wish you had stayed home.
That sounds as if you were trying to get rid of me. I wonder that my feelings don't get hurt.
Well, you shouldn't be climbing around these hills.
Who says I'm climbing? Besides, we're there.
And we're going to go home by the road. No more of this mountain goat stuff for you.
Just because you're not as young as you were, you want your future son's mother to spend the rest of her life in a rocking chair?
Might.
Oh, such a lovely warm breeze up here. It's nice to put your face into it.
There. There's Matthew Warren, coming across the lower pasture.
And we better start down to him.
Now, wait a minute, darling.
What, David?
See the wall between our two properties? Between the elms?
Yes.
And it follows all the way out till it meets the road.
Yes, I see it. But I still don't see what difference it makes if a few stones have fallen down. But I don't care. It's a lovely day to be out meeting a neighbor. If you want to mend the wall, darling, it's fine by me.
You know, I'm starting to think that you don't like the idea of having a wall around our land.
Maybe I don't.
Now, that's a fine attitude coming from a woman who's always cleaning out her closets.
Closets and walls. I don't get the connection.
You will. You are fundamentally a very neat person. So, come on. We'll meet Warren at the bottom of the hill.
Much easier going down, isn't it?
Hey, no running.
Who's running?
Here, give me your hand.
Oh, that's a nice invitation.
Well, it's a nice hand.
Oh, David, I'm glad our land has a hill on it. Makes the place seem so much bigger to have a hill.
How do you figure that?
You can see so far around, way beyond our land. There's no end to things when you have a hill.
There's no end to things anyway, darling.
Yes, there is. When you have walls and things end. Oh, so serious on such a nice day.
Hello, Mr. Warren.
Take your time. Ground's treacherous.
It's a nice, deep voice. I like his face. It matches his voice.
And that's good.
Very. Your face matches your voice. That's one of the reasons I married you.
I'll put that away to understand later. Hope we didn't keep you waiting, Mr. Warren.
Oh, I just got here myself. Was held up this morning. One of my cows has pneumonia.
Cows? Can they have it, too?
Indeed they can. You must be Mrs. Norton.
Hello.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Warren.
I've been looking forward to it. My new neighbors.
And you're ours. You weren't joking? Cows can have pneumonia?
Yes, ma'am. Cows can have pneumonia.
Huh.
Cows can have mostly anything people can.
Oh, I hope she'll be all right.
Well, we'll try to pull her through. You going to farm your land, Mr. Norton?
Well, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm having quite some trouble getting started.
Take your time about it. This land's going to be here a long time.
David, Mr. Norton has been so anxious to have a farm, we just can't help being a little impatient.
Oh, impatience never hurts. But having no patience is bad.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, I know you'll be anxious to get back to your barn, Mr. Warren, so...
Yes, the vet's coming, so we'd better get on to mending this wall. You've broken up pretty bad from the winter.
It was a record snow this year, wasn't it?
Yes, nature gave us quite a beating. She likes to show she's got the upper hand every now and then.
It's a year-round fight getting a living off the land.
I guess it always will be. But we get along. Now, what say we walk along the wall and patch her up as we go? You pick up your stones and set them back. I'll do the same on my side.
Good enough.
Every year as I do this with Jared Tucker, now with you, I like to think back to the first year it was done.
300 years ago.
This land was in my family then, on my mother's side. Putting up these walls meant quite a deal that first year.
Mm-hmm. The land was ready to yield. The fields could be plowed and planted.
More than that. My great-great-grandfather had won his first fight. He'd pushed nature back beyond his walls, and he found he could keep her there.
Oh, but that was only the beginning.
Yes, only the beginning. There it was before him, cleaned and marked off, farm broken, so to speak. A square of tamed land in a world that didn't take kindly to law and order.
And the walls your grandfather built are still these?
Yes, with these same stones. That one there you're holding in your hand, he could have held it, and his sons held it, and I have. God willing, maybe my sons and yours will hold it someday.
But these walls aren't keeping nature back anymore, Mr. Warren. They're between you and us.
Same thing. You've heard good walls make good neighbors, Mrs. Norton.
We'd be good neighbors without walls, I think.
I think so, too. But a wall will never hurt. Because it's good to know that what's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine. And we'll never step on each other's toes.
You think that without a wall
Oh, yes, I do. But every year something comes. Snows and storms and trees that are spreading their roots. They all come and tear down our walls. Break 'em up so as you and I might get to quarreling about our boundaries and suspicious of each other. Greedy for a piece of the other's land, maybe.
Keeping good neighbors takes a lot of care, doesn't it, David?
Yes. Yes, it does. A lot of sweat and a lot of care. Darling, why don't you stand under the shade of that tree? We'll be here quite a while.
Maybe I will. Sun's getting warm.
Here's my coat, Mrs. Norton. Just throw it down and make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Some of these stones roll clear over to here. Got a mind of their own, it'd seem.
There's a great American poet who wrote about what Mr. Warren and I are doing today.
What did he say, David?
It was Robert Frost. And the line that haunts my memory runs, "Something there is that does not like a wall."
I remember it. And that something isn't good, is it? It's disorder, confusion. In men, it can be envy, avarice.
And sometimes the lack of privilege and the withholding of every man's right to possess something of his own that he can protect and nurture, that makes some men not like walls.
I'd rather build a wall so I could cross it in friendship than not have a wall and know I needed it.
I think we live beside a friend and that we'll cross this one often.
David, if I sit quietly under this tree while you and Matthew Warren mend the wall, can we walk home up by the hill instead of by the road?
Darling, you want to climb to the top of the hill again?
Yes. From the crest, we'll see a straight, tall wall joining our land with Mr. Warren's.
All right, darling.
Oh, David, such a beautiful, warm day. I love you so much.
When you're lunching at a fountain or counter, you enjoy a Coke with your sandwich or salad. Why not make lunchtime refreshment time at home? All you have to do is to include a bottle of ice-cold Coca-Cola, and a mere snack becomes a festive meal. Keep plenty of Coke on ice. Buy it by the carton or the case, now that there's enough to go round again.
Have you known the Nortons long, Mr. King?
Oh, quite a few months now, Mr. Warren.
Quite a nice young couple. I welcome them as my neighbors. Mrs. Warren is looking forward to meeting them, too.
Well, I hope it'll be soon.
I'll tell Mrs. Warren to get one of our chickens ready and bring up some of our best preserves. Then we'll have the Nortons cross the fence and come to dinner.
Sounds like a mighty fine invitation. But it'll sound even better after tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
It's going to be a mighty hungry evening for Claudia and David. A beautiful chicken in the oven, and nothing for dinner but beans.
How come?
That's what we'll find out tomorrow.
See you then, Mr. King.
Goodbye, Mr. Warren. And as I was about to say, every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are,
Whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney. And now here's a word from your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola.
And the word is glass bottles, which we don't have anymore. Growing up, and I said this the other day on our local show, back in the day growing up when every town would have a Coca-Cola bottler. And every kid in school, their classes would go in, they would watch the Coke being bottled, and they would watch the people put it all in the wooden racks. No plastic and paper. No, it was wooden racks that would go to the local stores and all the places so that it could be done. The Coca-Cola bottler, a very, very important part of communities. And do you remember the caps? Back in the day, they didn't have plastic seals on them. They had cork seals. And if you weren't careful, you could end up getting cork in your soda. There you go. Anyway, 76 years ago, April 27th, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Comedy tomorrow. We salute April 28th, 1953, with episodes of My Friend Irma and Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis from that date. We'll also have Abbott and Costello and another one of those amazing Sam Shovel plays. The Dr. Hall wins the Schofield Prize in an episode of The Halls of Ivy starring Ronald Benita Coleman, and another episode in the Superman adventure, The Nitrate Shipment. That'll be coming up on our Sunday edition here of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, and then we'll get to dramas next week, including, as I said, yours truly, Johnny Dollar's suspense T-Man, Arch Obler's plays. We'll also have I Was a Communist for the FBI, Calling All Cars, Sherlock Holmes, and The Saint. That's coming up as we wrap up this month of April here on Classic Radio Theater. Have yourself a great day. I'm Wyatt Cox.